Welcome back to the I Didn't Shave Again Today show, starring discombobulated Grizzly Adams. No, hey, welcome back to Dom's Corner, everybody. Great to have you here. It's been a lot of fun stories popping up, and I'm excited to talk about them. We got Ben Affleck wanted a BVS rewrite. Who's surprised about that? We also got a lot of trailers, 5 to be exact, but more than I was anticipating on talking about. Lots of fun stuff coming up, but sitting next to me, to my left there, is Mr. Cisco Scartozzi. I don't know why I have a hard time saying your name sometimes.
It's all good. It's
like
like you'll get it eventually.
Scartozzi.
It might be the hand pitch you gotta add in the little flavor on it.
I'll get around to it. How was your vacation, bud? How was your vacation?
It was good. I got a little burnt, but you know what I mean. It was worth it.
Yeah.
Worth it for the tan. You got to sacrifice.
I get it. Absolutely.
But yeah, it was chill. It was chill. I'm a much needed vacation.
Yeah.
And we took the precautions too. So it wasn't just like, we didn't go to like Vegas and wild out, that type of vacation. And no, we had an Airbnb and went to the beach and everything, socially distanced, wearing masks, even though a lot of people in Florida not, but that's okay.
Right on.
It's like, let's do you. But yeah.
Hopefully they were vaccinated.
Yeah, and I'm fully vaxxed now too, so
nice.
So that's always helps too.
Awesome. I'm gonna get mine probably over the weekend here, so should be.
I'm on the wait list.
Yeah,
I'm waiting for my email.
Yeah.
All right.
And speaking of that, down to the bottom there is Miss Sammy Ramirez. Sammy, I'm gonna pretend like I didn't just see you yesterday. How's your week been?
It's been great. Thank you so much. Yeah, I've been doing good so far, but finally cracked into the Clone Wars. That's the
we're going to talk
update.
About that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and I'm loving it. I watched both Princess Diaries 1 and Princess Diaries 2 today, and they put me in a great mood. So
good.
I'm doing great.
All right, wonderful. Glad to have you here. And she'll be reading the news today, as always. And guys, if you haven't done so already, please hit the like button below, subscribe to the channel, leave some feedback in the comment section, share this with friends, and hit the bell for notifications. Much appreciated. So Clone Wars, which you and I started binging yesterday, Sammy.
Yes.
Tell Cisco why he needs to watch the Clone Wars.
Oh
Go
my
ahead.
God.
Let's hear your
if
pitch.
you love Star Wars, literally, if you love Star Wars at all, you will love the Clone Wars. I thought and again, Dom said this, that he was a bit shocked that I was enjoying the earlier episodes.
I really was.
Because I hear that all around too, that the earlier episodes are more of the ones for kids, like the kiddie type shows, and then further it goes along, the more kind of a Filoni's vision starts happening, and the more adult and actual Star Wars it becomes. But I mean, saying that though, Star Wars, for me at least, I've always understood that it's been for children. It's a space adventure with characters for children, and it is that. So I don't think it was that jarring for me, because I'm kind of, I don't want to say used to that type of tone, but I expect that from Star Wars. I expect a little bit of, childishness that's still absolutely charming and want to watch, absolutely. But you have to watch it. I really, my favorite thing, honestly, was the clones. Clones that I was introduced to. We watched, we skipped the movie, and we skipped what was a Jar Jar episode.
You don't have to watch the Jar Jar episodes, folks. I'm not saying that as a bias. I'm being honest. But
we went in chronological order, is what I'm saying. We went chronological order and only skipped the movie and one other episode. And in doing that, you get introduced to the clones, which I don't think you get introduced to until, what is it, season 3, episode 1?
Right. And you get an early introduction to who your main group is going to be. That what starts out as Domino Squadron and becomes the 501st eventually, which is really awesome. And I think that having that early on kind of planted in your head, it makes more sense to where they are when we see them later on. I feel like,
I already love them. So that episode does such a good job of introducing you to all of them that I'm I can't wait for them to show up now.
Yeah. It definitely gives a lot more depth, or a lot more, I'm trying to think of the word, maybe not depth, but it gives a lot more to...
Depth, yeah.
Well, that, but also when you see 99's arc in the show, it makes more sense to kind of
who's my favorite character, by the way. There's big things for him, and I know nothing, and I'm so excited.
Yeah, when you see that arc later on down the line, it just, you'll see what I'm saying when you get to it, but it just makes more sense to be introduced to him early on. and that's why I recommend the chronological order. There's many other reasons too I recommend this order, and you'll see why too as well. Like some of the bounty hunter stuff just makes more sense watching it in chronological order as well. You'll when we get into that part of it, you'll see it's really an incredible show, with just fantastic storytelling, even though it doesn't seem so in the beginning. Like all this stuff you get planted, it comes back around later. You just don't know it. You know what I mean?
Like, even in those early episodes, they were still so like coherent, and they were a 23-minute Star Wars story. It was a short story, if you will, that took place in the Star Wars world, and I still enjoy that. Yeah, but for me, I still enjoyed it. That's how I was watching it more of like, this is like a short story in the Star Wars universe. Right, but I think it's crafted that way. So I think it is, it's helpful, I think.
It feels that way in the beginning. Like each episode feels like its own little mini movie, and
only seen like 6 episodes
and it just takes time for the whole show to get its like overarching like story involved, and then something we can like follow for the rest of it. Like, but we will get there too. And I wanted to ask you, because I don't think we talked about this yesterday, the Asajj Ventress character. Like, how are you on that?
Which one was that? Oh no, which one was that?
Two Sabers. Yeah, I don't remember. You were talking about.
Yeah, Two Saber girl. Yeah, that was dope. I said to you while we were watching it, I was like, do you realize how hard I assume it is to fight well with 2 lightsabers in both your dominant hand and your non-dominant hand, and do well against Obi-Wan Kenobi and Anakin Skywalker? Like, that was so impressive to me.
Yeah. No, so she gets so much more story. That was one of the things
intrigued and impressed.
That was one of the things in the movie that we didn't get to see, is like it I mean, you see it, like we saw it in the episodes, but like it explains that she is the apprentice of Count Dooku at the moment, what I mean? But like what's really cool is like when that starts to like later on, like without giving too much away, like that starts to become problems, because he also has Grievous as an apprentice right now, and I think that's kind of the thing I'm ready for you to explore. But yeah, just a quick Clone Wars update for everybody out there. I wanted to let y'all know that Sammy was watching it now, and that's awesome. And we'll update you on her progress as we go. Cisco, get started.
I'll get there. I'm stacked right now. Between Oscars and Falcon and Winter Soldier and Invincible, I'm watching every week. It's
I have a whiteboard on this wall, and it just has a list of all of the Oscar movies that I need to watch, because I've only seen 2, and it's rough. And they're next week or 2 weeks.
Getting down to the wire, so I'm trying to fit everything in. But after that, I mean, I'll get there. Yeah, for sure. It's for the Bad Batch.
Yeah,
probably I'll start.
Yeah. Cool. Oh yeah, the Bad Batch. Yeah, that seems so much cooler to me now.
Yeah, so, like we'll get there. Like Sammy, that's the goal, is to try to finish this before Bad Batch.
It's a couple months, 4th. Right?
May 4th. Well, I don't know if we'll finish it beforehand, but we'll try to. We'll try.
7 seasons.
No, it was that soon.
Yeah, let's shoot for that, and then we'll see how things go. Yeah,
I'll at least get started probably by then.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
You should, man. I think that, like, I mean, Sammy could probably attest to this, because I remember you telling me, like, you didn't think that the animation would be good, but, like, I think that what ends up happening that's, like, so good about the show is you do feel so wrapped up into the stories that you start to not notice that it's animated. I feel like that's something that they do a good job of from the very beginning of it. And, like, I think that the visuals are, like, like, there's some, like, really cool visual stuff, even with, like, that style of animation, like, that gets played into it, and I feel like...
Yeah, you told me it gets better, too, like, with the later seasons too, so
right.
I'm sure it does.
Yeah, no, for sure. Like, animation definitely improves along the way. That's for damn sure. So but something I wanted to mention here too is the I was watching this, I know me and the Star Wars talk, but this really kind of isn't Star Wars talk necessarily, but like I bring this guy up all the time, and I wanted to commend him on something else that he did recently, is his stream, that this last one, I think it was like last Sunday he did this, his latest podcast episode, Star Wars Theory. I want to commend him so much more, because this is something, and I feel like our listeners on stereo and stuff have been really good about this too, but like what he did is he's like he's kind of had it, you know what I mean? He's at a point, because he doesn't like the sequels, you know what I mean? And then people bash him for not liking the sequels, or they think he adds to the toxicity and things like that. And one of the things he did is he was like, I want you to come in here and I want you to tell me why you think I'm toxic. And you did. And you just invited a ton of people into a Zoom or whatever. Right? Maybe it was Discord. But like we're talking right now, just to come in, and have the discussion with him, about like why they like the sequels. And, one of the things that I want to commend him on is he was super open-minded the whole time. I'm not saying it turned his opinion on the sequels completely, but he definitely seemed enlightened by a lot of different fans' opinions and things like that. And it was just another awesome way to get like smaller content creators, on his channel. And like the one guy, which I had no idea he was even a thing. It was like Star Wars Santa or something like that. He really looked like Santa Claus. It was really dope. Last Jedi lover, sequel lover. I mean, mostly Last Jedi he loved, big sequel lover, came and talked, and they had this amazing discussion about, why his kids, why he loves it so much. Like his daughters love The Last Jedi or the sequels in general. And like, he's just found a connection to them from that, as well. And even being somebody, and it was just really beautiful to see him in theory kind of connect on this level of like, they both got picked on as kids, in which case they just have attached themselves to these characters and things like that, even though they disagree on the movies themselves. It was just really super cool. But anyway, that guy, he's a very small YouTuber, you know what I mean, but he got 350 more subscribers just from being on Theory stream alone. So I don't know, I like to commend like really cool things like that when I see it, but like that was something else. I want to talk about Stereo too, because I think I want a lot of people, anybody who watches this, if you're hearing a noise right now, I do apologize, but I wanted to let a lot of people know who watches this, like to get on Stereo. If you feel like you have a voice in this fandom, like get on Stereo, because like one of the coolest things ever was when we were on Stereo, and there's like so many different types of fans. Like when Sammy said that she was, watching Clone Wars, there was no like negativity of like, you haven't seen Clone Wars yet, you idiot, nothing like that. It was all love. It was like, thank God, Sammy, you're watching Clone Wars. Hey, I think, that's great. You know what I mean? How do you like it so far? Things like that. And like, I totally support the Stereo app the more and more I go on it. And I just want to let people know, if you think you have a voice on there, you should get on it, because I know like there's a fear of getting judged. And I can tell you personally, like, I feel scared every time I join like a new platform, whether it's YouTube or Stereo. You know what I mean? Like I do. I feel like these nerves and stuff like that. But like one of the things I loved about Stereo so much is how welcoming our listeners have been, and there's like not a lot of hate on there. And I think that if you come in there trying to not spreading negativity as yourself with your voice, then you're going to avoid listeners who come in as negativity. So just anybody out there who has a voice, or, has ever wanted to, have your voice be heard in fandom, or whatever you want to talk about, even just like get out there on Stereo. That was just a message I wanted to throw out there. I just think it's been going really great, and our listeners are awesome. So special thank you to them for sure. So let's get to some news. We got a lot of it today. Let's start with these trailers. We'll kind of go through them one by one and give our thoughts here.
Cool. All right. First up, we have the Army of the Dead trailer from director Zack Snyder. And it will be released in theaters and on Netflix on May 21st of this year. I really enjoyed this trailer. I'll start off. I really liked how there's a lot. It takes place in Vegas for one thing, and it does a really good job, I think, of using that Vegas iconography, but mixing it in with the zombie aesthetic as well. That was the coolest part of it to me. I'm not the biggest like zombie fan. I haven't seen any of other Zack Snyder zombie films, so I'm not that well versed. But visually, this looks so cool. What do you guys think?
Well, yeah, I really like Dawn of the Dead. I know Cisco does as well, which we can get into. Like I think his version of Dawn of the Dead is really fantastic. I like the original Dawn of the Dead better, but I still think he gave like a really cool, put his own spin on it and did a really great job. And that's part of what made it so great, is the fact that Zack Snyder put his own spin on it. I am a huge Snyder fan, so I know most people expect me to enjoy this trailer, and yeah, I very much did, because there's so many like visuals of things that I love about Zack Snyder in the first place. So yeah, I'm gonna really enjoy that. But not only that, what this did so much better than its initial teaser, which this is how it should go, is that it actually gave us the story. And I think that that's why it's such a good trailer. It told us what this movie is going to be about. You know, Dave Bautista joins this crew. You know, it's a zombie heist movie, which is something kind of different in my opinion. I don't think we've really seen that before. And I like that, you know, we're going to get like zombie animals, you know, zombie tigers and things like that. I think that's a really cool, unique thing. And like when they showed, I mean, this really is an army of the dead. You know, when they show the scale of the army of the dead, it's huge. You know what I mean? And it feels almost like these characters are probably not even going to get out of this. I guarantee they're all dead by the end of this movie. But you know, we'll see what happens. I think it looks like a really it's Snyder going back to his roots, and I think that is going to be good for him, you know what I mean, after doing these big budget movies. Not that his big budget stuff was bad to me, but just the fact that he is I think it's good for a filmmaker to, you know, kind of go back to their roots and try to reinvent themselves, you know, on a smaller scale, even though this movie looks, you know, big effects and everything. I just think the story is a little more simple and things like that. So I'm just really excited about it regardless. But anyway, Cisco, what do you got?
Like I'm not the biggest Snyder fan, like as we talked about here before, but I do like his Dawn of the Dead. I said before on here, like that's my favorite Snyder movie. Still, and so when I heard he was doing another zombie movie, obviously I was excited. I didn't even watch the teaser just because, like, I don't know. I just was like, I don't like watching teasers usually or trailers, but when it dropped this morning, I was like, you know what? It's probably gonna get like spoiled out for me anyway, the like trailer shots and stuff. So I just watched it, and like I'm a huge fan of Bautista as an actor.
Yeah.
I think he's really great. And you know, the Vegas iconography, like Sammy was saying, I was getting like Resident Evil 3. I don't know if you guys seen that, but you know, they do kind of the post-apocalyptic Vegas thing. And you know, that has zombies too. And I'm the opposite. I love zombie movies, so like I just think it lends itself to so many interesting things when it comes to movies and video games. Like it reminded me most recently, it's the movie called Peninsula.
Yeah, the sequel to Train to Busan.
Train to Busan, yeah, which I didn't love. I didn't think it was that good, but the plot is very similar, where they have to go to a location to get money, and there's these crazy zombies coming after them. And so I think that premise is always going to be interesting. The fact that the zombies are smarter this time, and like the animals aren't immune to it. I like those like little twists. Even though like people were mad when Snyder made fast zombies back in the day. I don't know if people remember that, but you know, people were saying like that's not real zombies. Zombies are supposed to be slow, but I do appreciate that he made his own version of it.
I agree.
There's always going to be those purists though. Like they said the same thing about 28 Days Later and how those aren't really zombies. And it's just like, whatever, man. Zombies are whatever you want them to be. Yeah. But yeah, I like even like video games. I love Resident Evil games. Days Gone, that's like a more recent like PS4 zombie post-apocalyptic game, and it's just fun. I just love that whole vibe, and I think there's so much you can do with that. And so there's a lot of good actors in here. Like Tig Notaro looked like amazing. Like,
that's right. Yeah,
like with the black and mild looking badass. Like,
I like that. I like that a lot.
I want to see her what she does, and a lot of good character actors, which is like what you need in this type of movie. So I'm looking forward to it. And then the other interesting thing I wanted to bring up, just last thing I'll say, is that it is coming to theaters and Netflix, but I think it's interesting. It's coming to theaters like a week before it goes to Netflix, which I think is like a good move, because then it gives people an incentive to go out and see it.
Absolutely.
And you know what I mean? Gives the box office a chance at least to where, I mean, I know Godzilla and Kong is very successful right now, but that's like a whole other beast. It's not, you know what I mean? Sure. That's a blockbuster. And so I'm going to be interested to see how that does in the theater, as well as Netflix. So.
Yeah, at least give it a trial run. I feel like Netflix should do that for more of their movies and things like that. Just at least give it a trial run. If it does well, you just make more money. You know, that's all that really comes down to. You know, so I feel like it's just it's just a really, really good move. And I'm gonna admit something right now. So I love Tig Notaro, like I really do. Like anytime I see her in an interview or anything like that, she is hysterical. She's amazing. I have never actually seen a piece of content with Tig Notaro in it though.
Like movie wise, yeah, she's not really in a lot.
Yeah.
Like,
but I love her personality.
But just
her
as the person though, that's what I mean. Just seeing her in the trailer, I was like, "Fuck yes, let's go!" Right. Like, finally, she's in something.
Exactly.
I can see.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that definitely had me excited as well. And then on the Batista front, like of course I like Batista as an actor. He's done great in the Guardians movies. He was really cool in Blade Runner for that one scene he had.
Amazing in that one scene. Yeah,
fantastic. And this like looks like a little bit more of like his, like the movie's gonna definitely have fun vibes, but like to it for sure. But like his character in this looks a little bit more on the edge, like the Blade Runner character. And to see like, so the fact that we're getting something like that, like in an expanded, you know what I mean, type of way is pretty cool to me. So I'm looking forward to that a lot. Yeah.
Is it because he has those small glasses again, like he did in 2049?
That was part of it. That was part of it. That's right. The spectacles. I forgot about the spectacles.
And shout out to Amari Hardwick too, who was shirtless with a chainsaw, some sort of saw contraption in it. Whatever he's doing in that scene, I'm like, yeah, I want to see where that goes.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That's another part I like about zombie, like Dead Rising is like a game I just beat during quarantine because it's a long game and I was bored. But you can just like create weapons and kill zombies with like make a spike bat chainsaw like and just go like. So I feel like they're tapping into that. But yeah, he's from like Power, that show Power that was on for a long time, and he's really good in that. So interesting to see that he's like branching out into movies now, probably off the success of that show. So I'm interested to see what he does in the movie too. For sure.
Yeah, really looks great. All right, what's next? We got a lot to go through. Let's see what we got.
So next trailer we have is for Mainstream, which was written by Gia Coppola, granddaughter of Francis Ford Coppola, and it is starring, this is an incredible cast. It's Andrew Garfield, Maya Hawke, Nat Wolff, Jason Schwartzman. And it's described as a young woman who thinks she has found a path to internet stardom when she starts making YouTube videos with a charismatic stranger played by Andrew Garfield. Okay. However, the dark side of his viral celebrity threatens to ruin them both. I'll just say I love this trailer. It looks so weird, so stylized, and yet I can feel the message and the themes that they're trying to get across from it, and I just think it's going to be one of those really weird but poignant and powerful films. I feel like that's what the trailer reads to me.
Yeah, I like I love Andrew Garfield. Like I really think he's a really phenomenal actor. I thought it looks like he's gonna do a pretty wild, insane kind of role in this, like for sure, and I'm excited to see that.
It kind of seems to me like he's playing kind of like, do you guys know who like Jake and Logan Paul are?
Yeah,
it seems to me like they're doing like a demented extreme.
He's also in the trailer.
Paul.
Yeah. Yes, that's right. He is in the trailer. He is. Yep.
Yeah. See, I didn't.
Yeah, he's in there.
No, Jake. I think it's Jake Paul.
I think it is Jake Paul.
But still, they're very similar. Yeah.
Either way, I do agree with you. I think that's exactly what he's going for, and I think that that it's pretty cool. It's obviously it's about content creation, so like I'm interested in that aspect of it. However, the sort of like wild, zany nature of it, I could really see that being a little too much, and I don't want it to be too much.
I think it's going to be perfect. I think it's going to be for the wild, wacky world of the internet and being internet famous. I think it's going to match perfectly.
I do hope it works. I really do, and I hope I watch it and go, yeah, that was a good. It turned out to be great.
Yeah,
I can just see it going the other way very easily as well, to where it's like it's almost too much and it's just too flashy or whatever. And I get it, it's content creation. But, on the same hand, I could just see it maybe being too much or too over the top. I think that this still needs to be a film that, you know, speaks to content creators, you know, and like, you know, maybe warns against
very
dangers of content
specific.
Creators. Yeah,
it is. It seems to be like a very specific type of content creator, I will say.
For sure.
They're focusing in on, you know.
For sure. But this type of content creator, it doesn't, I don't think it matters. Like, I still think that, like, the dangers of being a content creator, which it seems like it's exploring, apply to every content creator. So I feel like, I hope that message comes across, you know, at least, you know, that's what it looks like they're trying to do from the marketing. And I do hope it works. I just hope it doesn't get lost in all the craziness and over the topness and zaniness. You know what I mean? That's kind of my fear of it. That said, I'm excited to see Andrew Garfield do something again. It's been a little bit, and you know, the fact that he's playing like this sort of over the top role, you know what I mean, is like going to be really cool to watch. I have no doubt in my mind that his performance at the very least will be great. Also, I didn't see Palo Alto. I know it's the same director. I don't know if any of you guys have to give reference.
You haven't?
Okay. So that's another thing, and maybe I should watch that and kind of, you know, get a style, you know, vibe, you know, just to see like, you know, what maybe it's going for a little bit more, and then I could report back on that and be like, oh yeah, this movie's probably going to be good because Palo Alto was great, or the other way around, or you know. But yeah, I would like to definitely watch Palo Alto now to kind of get a vibe, and you know, the filmmaker as well, to see like if I think they can, you know, do a story like this with this over the top again kind of zaniness, as you were saying. But anyway, Cisco, what do you think of the trailer?
I'm kind of leaning more towards Dom's perspective, honestly. Like, y'all
are gonna eat your words when this movie comes out, and y'all are bored. I feel it.
I hope so.
This is just a trailer, though. You know what I mean? It's not like you can only. This is just my gut like reaction, like of just I love Andrew Garfield too. I think he makes interesting choices as of late. Hacksaw Ridge, and you know. I didn't really love Under the Silver Lake, but like I like that he made that weird ass movie.
I didn't watch it.
I've never heard of that.
It's like if you're into conspiracy theories, that's the movie for you. Like it's
I heard nothing good. I heard nothing good about it. I'm not gonna lie.
You know, people love it though. It has a cult fan base.
Does it?
So this feels like that type of movie that is gonna have a cult fan base.
Right.
That's like my point. And like nothing against the message. I think content creator like commentary is like very poignant right now, like you said, Sammy. It's just strictly on just how are they gonna execute it. Like it looks like there's a lot of graphics being used, a lot of over the top production and you know, design, and so I just don't want that to get in the way of the story and the message. That's my fear of it. But it has been done before. Like I don't know if you guys have seen that movie Cam. It was on Netflix. It's like a horror. But it was very interesting. It's like a similar where, you know, this girl is like does basically like OnlyFans type, you know, content for her fans, and then it basically becomes like a horror movie when this guy kind of like starts stalking her or whatever, and going into all her message boards and trying to mess with her. And so it's like and there's countless like horror versions of it, like Unfriended and Host and all these. Like for some reason, horror
Unfriended was great, by the way. Unfriended, I thought was so underrated.
I liked Unfriended a lot.
Both of them.
I liked Unfriended a lot. Yeah, I agree with you guys.
And so
I didn't see that one, but
horror is doing a good job of taking advantage of it. I don't know why other genres aren't doing it. So and I haven't seen Gia Coppola's other work either.
Right.
So I don't have any reference for that. So it's just strictly just on this trailer, and Andrew Garfield and the cast. Like the cast is promising. And the message is just how if they're gonna pull it off. So I'll watch it though. I'll give it a chance. It hasn't gotten great reviews though, early reviews though too. That's another thing. It's pretty rotten right now.
Okay.
Oh really?
Wherever you go.
Oh, no.
I didn't actually look at any of them, so I wouldn't know.
Yeah, me neither.
There's not a lot of reviews because it's still like early, but
yeah. Well, like I mean, Shadow in the Cloud was one that turned around like that. Like it started out with really negative reviews, and then like
did you see that yet?
Haven't watched it. I need to. You know how behind I am on shit though, like in terms of watching shit though. Yeah, I know. I'll get around to it. But yeah, guys. Question is, what do you think of it? You know, I mean, did you everybody out there like mainstream, and let us know.
It's got a 36% right now, but it's only like maybe 10 reviews, 11 reviews.
Oh, okay.
Right. We'll see what happens. It could change easily.
Yeah, it could flip real quick.
Yeah. All right. What's next?
All right, next trailer we have Batman: The Long Halloween Part 1, which I really honestly don't know much about the storyline at all. I do not know much. I could read you the synopsis, but it's not much. I thought it was cool though. It looks cool.
Maybe for the viewers, maybe read it if they haven't seen the trailer.
Let me see. All right. We got inspired by the iconic mid-1990s DC story. Batman: The Long Halloween Part 1 begins as a brutal murder on Halloween prompts Gotham's young vigilante, the Batman, to form a pact with the city's only two uncorrupt lawmen, James Gordon and Harvey Dent, in order to take down the Roman, head of a notorious and powerful Falcon crime family. But when more deaths occur on Thanksgiving and Christmas, it becomes clear that instead of ordinary gang violence, they're also dealing with a serial killer, the identity of whom each conflicting clue grows harder to discern. Few cases have ever tested the wits of the world's greatest detective like the mystery behind the holiday killer.
Upside down.
Oh, you got it. Wow.
I do have the graphic novel, yes.
Oh, is that it? Wow.
Yeah, so just so everybody knows.
You should go first then, Dom. Have you read it?
I have not. So my thoughts on this are, I do plan to read this. I've owned this for a little bit, and I've been planning to open it for a long time. I had actually purchased this even before this thing got announced that they were going to do one of these. What was really funny, so I can give you guys a little more detail on this. Warner Brothers announced this like a while back that they were going to be doing this as an animated short, and now one of the things, there's a couple things I know about The Long Halloween. One, it's one of the best Batman stories out there apparently, and two, it's the basically the graphic novel that Matt Reeves is most inspired by, you know.
I read that.
So
that just made like I'm suddenly care about this now.
So Warner Brothers, when they announced this, Ian and I reported on this. For some reason, not a lot of like places were, but like Warner Brothers did put out a statement that didn't seem to gain a lot of traction. Ian and I were talking about this. They are putting this animated movie out to act as a precursor to Robert Pattinson's, you know, thing, which it's going to come in two parts, you know what I mean? But this two parts of The Long Halloween, it's supposed to be like a precursor to Pattinson's Batman. So I don't know if that means it's going to act as a direct prequel, or if it's just going to be like we're using this to kind of promote that sort of style that Matt Reeves is going for. So I don't know much about it. All I know is it's like, much like Matt Reeves' Batman, it's jam-packed with like a lot of villains. You can kind of tell from the trailer of this. I thought the trailer looked really cool. Like, I actually think it looks like it's going to be a really up amongst the better DC animated movies. But then again, like when DC has, you know, adapted some of their more beloved properties into animated form, some people haven't taken too kindly to it. Like sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. Like
The Killing Joke.
Right, exactly. So I know I'm in the minority. I like the Killing Joke animated film, but people definitely have not taken too kindly to it. You know,
not a fan.
And so for me, I like the graphic novel more. Don't get me wrong, for Killing Joke, but anyway, that's a tangent. But my point is I hope it works. I hope that they, you know, do this one justice. I haven't read the graphic novel. Plan to read it now that this is coming right around the corner. So, and I'm very excited to do so. And once I do, I'll report back and let you guys know how it is and if this is something you should watch or not. But Cisco, what do you think of the trailer?
Yeah, I'm a fan of DC animated. I think they do great work. And I know people just want to be negative and say DC sucks and whatever and wave their hands in the air. But anytime someone tells that to me, I'll say, have you seen any of their animated stuff? Like, you know what I mean? And then
you ready to catch these hands? That's what you say.
Usually they say no. So then that's why, you know what I mean? It's like, okay, well, and I have a list ready. So, and I'll give them some titles or whatever. Cause I think they do, majority, they do a good job.
Yeah, they do.
Of them. And so, yeah, I know this is like a beloved story. I haven't read it either.
Yeah.
But just the vibe, I'm like, you know, all you got to say is like Batman being a detective and like on like Halloween, you know what I mean? Like I'm in right there. Like, like serial killer story on Halloween. That's definitely like sounds like my bag. And there's gonna be two parts to this too. I don't know if you guys saw that. This is going to be like part 1.
Yeah.
And then the second part is actually, the other interesting thing is like part 2 is going to be rated R. And then
really?
this one's PG-13.
Okay.
So, and I know, because I know, you know, I watched the trailer with my brother and he was kind of being like, this looks like a more rated R type movie. And I told him, I was like, well, the part 2 is rated R. So
okay.
Maybe they picked up on that vibe. And so they just split the middle. And, you know, the first one didn't need to be R. And then the second part, you know, they're like, well, we're going to ramp up the blood and violence now for this one. So,
right.
Yeah. And the Batman stories in particular, the animated ones, like Batman Ninja, I'd recommend. Batman,
I don't like Batman Ninja. Sorry.
I thought that was dope. Batman, what was it? Gotham by Gaslight, something like that.
Gotham by Gaslight's really good. I like Gotham by Gaslight.
I like that
really
one. They do a lot of good Batman ones. So,
yeah, they definitely do. Assault on Arkham, which is more of a Suicide Squad movie, but still, it's really good.
What's the one the one that just came out recently? That Batman, Soul of the Dragon.
Yeah, I need to watch that one. I need to watch that one. Yeah.
So, I mean, they know that Batman's like their star character, and I feel like they usually put like a lot of effort into his stories.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and this looks good. The trailer made it look good. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely going to be the more detective, you know, Batman. You know, that's what I'm really interested in most of all. I think, you know, I mean, on one end you can kind of look at it as a marketing scheme to split it in 2 parts, but like if you see this graphic novel's thick, not as thick as like Watchmen per se, but like it's a pretty thick graphic novel. So I imagine if they're gonna like try to adapt it as closely to it as possible, they're definitely gonna want to extend it out to 2 parts. So I feel like that's part of the reason they're definitely going that route with it, and I hope so. I hope it's something that's fulfilling to the fans that have wanted to see this story in animated form for a very long time. I know anybody I talked to who has read The Long Halloween has told me it is the best Batman graphic novel out there. So wow. I hope that rings true when I read it. I can't wait. Sounds like a lot of fun, and should be pretty cool to kind of get a vibe of what Matt Reeves is going for beforehand. You know what I mean? That's one thing we'll get out of this, if anything. You know, so very
that really
about it.
Because again, I really did not know that much about it, but that really makes me interested into at least watching this, because again, like the Matt Reeves the Batman is one of my most anticipated movies of the next, like, give me a list of all the movies coming out in the next 3 years. That's makes top 5 easy.
I mean, I would go ahead and say, you know, for you, Sammy, somebody in your position, if there's any of these you're going to watch, it should actually probably be this one, just because of how much hype this graphic novel gets, and I think it'll be right up your alley. But and the trailer does look really good, so
I just thought of another one, Batman Hush. Have you seen that one?
Hush was good.
I liked Hush too. And that's based on another like really famous Batman comic too.
For sure.
And I thought they did. I haven't read that one, but I thought it made me want to read it.
Oh yeah, they do a great job more times than not, and so like I am optimistic. Don't get me wrong. I'm just like, I know that's not. This is like a really beloved graphic novel. You know what I mean? Like it really sacred to a lot of fans. Like a lot of fans say this is their favorite one of all time. It's like miles ahead of other Batman novels, which that's just what I've heard. So I'm just hoping that for the people who have an attachment to it, you know, they get their justice with it. You know, for me, again, I haven't read it yet, and I still feel like I'm not going to have as much of an attachment to it when I do read it and see the animated film as some of the fans that read it, you know, and have been waiting like years for this. So I feel like I'm probably going to like it no matter what. I tend to like a lot of the animated ones that fans even don't like. Same. So yeah, I think it'll be great. So I'm optimistic. What's next?
All right, next up we have
Josh DeMille.
What was that?
Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say the cast too, like the voice cast is pretty solid.
Oh
yeah. If you guys
nice.
I saw a little bit of it. Yeah, it looks like it's actually, you know, pretty solid actors. So yeah.
Nice, that's awesome. All right, next up we have the trailer for The Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard, starring Ryan Reynolds, Selma Hayek, and Samuel L. Jackson. Again, I don't know much about this. Is this a series? Is this, I don't know. I've heard The Hitman's Bodyguard before, but I've never seen it, and I've literally just heard the name and know nothing else other than this trailer. It looked funny. It looked fun. Love Ryan Reynolds.
There were a couple moments in this trailer that made me...
It's a sequel. This is a sequel.
Okay, that's what I was thinking. Okay.
It's a sequel to a movie. Yeah, to clear that up.
Right.
Sorry
Okay,
about that.
okay.
So, for me, I'm kind of sitting here like, why is this being made? Like, I know that there's definitely a fan base for the first film, but like, it didn't really make all that much money. And, honestly, like, I thought it was a terrible movie personally. Like, that's just me. I'm not trying to be biased, but like, I really did not like that first film. I thought it was god awful. So watching this one, I had no excitement for it whatsoever watching the trailer. And I'll be honest on my thoughts. It did make me chuckle a couple of times. But the trailer for the first movie also made me chuckle a few times. You know what I mean? And so, like, I don't think that means that the movie's going to end up being good necessarily, because I felt like one of the biggest mistakes that the first one made is their funniest moments were in the trailer. And
I was literally going to say that's like the kryptonite that so many comedies do, where they put all of their best jokes in the trailer to get you in there, and then you go to the movie and you're like, well, what the hell?
That was exactly Hitman's Bodyguard. Like, I don't think I laughed once at that movie because, like, all the jokes, maybe a couple times, but like all the jokes were like, stuff I'd seen in the trailer, so it was played out to me, and I thought the trailer was hilarious for that first one. This one definitely made me chuckle a couple times, but I was kind of I wasn't watching it in an optimistic type of way. I don't think that this property doesn't scream franchise to me. I don't understand why there's a sequel being made, especially I'm not trying to it's cool. Every studio has the right to spend their money and place their bets on whatever they want to, but I feel like in a time when, movie studios should be saving their money, this is something that they should have called off and just not have made. I do feel that way, but I don't think it's a safe bet at all. I would just definitely not have made this. But anyway, Cisco, go ahead. What are your thoughts on it?
Well, I was just looking up the box office because I do remember this being a hit, and I think that's why I got a sequel. And it did make quite a bit of money.
Did it?
It was 30 million. The budget was 30 million, and it made 75 million.
Okay.
And domestically, worldwide, it made 176 million.
I'll take it back. I swore this movie lost money. In my mind, I thought I remembered this movie watching money, so I was wrong. I apologize. Okay, so make another movie then. Yeah, definitely.
Because I remember it being a hit, and the reason I remember that is because it was a surprise to me, because I saw it in the theater too, and I didn't hate it as much as you did. I thought it was like decent. It was I was decent to negative on it. I didn't I absolutely hate it though, but I definitely didn't walk out of it and was like, you know what, this needs a sequel. I was just like, eh. Yeah. It was whatever action movie with two actors that I like, and had funny moments. It didn't take itself too seriously. But yeah, for them to make a sequel, when it made money, and I was like, oh, and they announced they were gonna make a sequel, I was like, oh man, I guess.
I swore I remember this tanking. Yeah. I remember this tanking. I swear. I don't know why.
You gotta think this was made probably I think a year after Deadpool. This was Ryan Reynolds is back, and people were just hungry for Ryan Reynolds and Sam Jackson. People love Sam Jackson too. So
yeah. I guess.
Salma Hayek. They're adding her in the mix. she was in the first one too.
She was
for a little bit. So that's kind of a fun spin on it, and the fact that Ryan Reynolds is on sabbatical, and so he's not trying to use weapons. I thought that's a funny so that's the twist now, is that he's not supposed to be killing people. He's not gonna. He had the pepper spray on the guy. But yeah, I'm not really hype and going to see this one first weekend type energy for this. I'm just maybe when it hits Redbox or something, or on a $5 Tuesday I'll go to see it. Okay. But yeah, it's one of those movies I saw with a bunch of friends too. I saw it in the most peak going to the theater with a bunch of friends, and we all kind of were well, it wasn't. But so I'm surprised it was such a hit. I don't know. Yeah, I think it might have just been Ryan Reynolds and people hungry for an action franchise type movie.
Hey, we might not have loved the movie, but you and I still paid for a ticket, right? We still paid for a ticket, so there's that. Something about the trailer intrigued us enough to go see it, right? So I think
that might have been Movie Pass year though, so I don't know.
Maybe. True. Maybe. Yeah, could have been.
Which still counts. Oh, it was 2017.
I was gonna say 2017 to early 2018.
Yeah. I guess my point was the marketing was strong enough to get us to go in there anyway. Though, still we were still able to go into the theater and sit down and watch this, and And like, I'll take that back. I do apologize, you know, to the studio. Who does this? Warner
Brothers?
It's
okay. I thought I was, and so that's why I just checked. And so
I swore this thing tanked. I thought I remember like tracking this box office and did badly. I'm almost having like Mandela effect right now because it's like
your brain just could not believe it that it trained itself.
It's like a hit.
It flopped, right?
Yeah.
It's like a hit, but it's kind of like unspoken. Like you would never, you know what I mean? It's not talked about at all ever. And so until the sequel. Right. So I understand that.
I'll take that back. Yeah. I mean, definitely make a sequel. I don't know. I don't see this. I think that the luster of the Deadpool thing's kind of worn off now. I don't necessarily see it like doing the numbers that the first movie did, and especially in this like pandemic era where this is something that we would watch on streaming these days. It really is. Like, let's be honest, that's the other thing. I don't see people like shelling out for the ticket to go see this. And again, people are excited to go back to the movie theater, and there is a cult hit, you know.
Man.
So
you know, Godzilla and Kong did good, and we'll see what Army of the Dead does. That might be.
What are the numbers? Do you know off the top of your head what the numbers for Godzilla versus Kong in theaters were?
They're pretty big.
Are they
especially
pretty big?
For this like post-pandemic.
I mean, not for like regular times, but like
for post-pandemic. Yeah, they were big.
Yeah, it's like the most money that a movie's made for the past year.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Like, easily.
It's doing well. It's tracking pretty well. Like it's doing really well. So I'm interested to see how this does. Like this is honestly like a story that I'm very intrigued by in terms of the hitman's wife's bodyguard. Like I'm intrigued in terms of like to see how this does now. You know what I mean? Will I go see it? I don't know. Maybe I'll give it a shot. You know, maybe there is something to this, but you know, we'll see. I have no interest to. I can tell you right now, but I might just to come back here and review it or something. You know, but we should track this one because I'm really interested to see how it does. You know what I mean? And you know, who knows? Maybe it comes out that first week and there's a lot of hype, and it's like, oh shoot, maybe they did a better job second time around. I mean, that's certainly happened before in the past, you know. So with things, so it could be good. I don't know. It didn't look good to me. I can tell you that. Yeah.
Godzilla versus Kong is 70 million domestic.
Wow.
And globally it's 357 million.
Wow.
Yeah.
So which, like I said, that's the best that we've seen since the pandemic. So that's pretty good.
For sure.
Wow, yeah, those are big. My guess, I was gonna guess like maybe 40-50 million domestic, but 70, that's big.
That means people are going back.
They're going, Yeah.
And I'll pose a question to the audience on the trailer, The Hitman's Bodyguard's Wife. Did you guys like the first one out there? Are you excited for this one? You know, or do you think that this is going to tank, or what's your opinion on it? So let us know.
Make sure to put a mixed option because I'd be in that mixed option. Don't put like or hate.
Or none of the above.
There's probably some that are with me that are like
sure, yeah. If you're mixed, like let us know. Whatever, however you feel, just put it in. Anyway, Sammy, go ahead.
Nice.
What's next?
So our last trailer, it's more of a clip from the movie, but it's from Ghostbusters Afterlife. And it's titled Mini Puffs. It's literally Paul Rudd, brought to you by Baskin Robbins, by the way. Go shopping for some Baskin Robbins ice cream. And then he goes down to get some more stuff for his ice cream, and he sees a bag of Puffs marshmallows. And they just start coming to life.
Yeah.
And they just come to life and they do some shenanigans, and that's it. That's his movie. And that's really what it was. It seemed fun, cool, very Paul Rudd thing to do. I've said before, I'm so hyped for this movie.
Yeah.
We've talked about how we're not fans of Dom even hasn't seen the 2016 Ghostbusters.
You have it?
I watched an analysis on it where they pretty much showed most of the movie and they described what happened to me. Nothing to do with the women out there, people. I actually really like Paul Feig and I like the actresses in it. I've just never gotten around to
I
actually
honestly don't
it.
hate it as much as everyone else.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. It's not like it's like Hitman's Bodyguard. It's just fine, but I didn't like. It's not like oh my god.
I love Chris Hemsworth.
Yeah, he was like the best part.
That's what everybody tells me. It's the best part.
That's literally kind of it.
That's weird to me, but okay.
Yeah. He's a good comedy actor.
He's a really good comedy actor. Oh my god, he's the perfect person to play that role. But anyway, Afterlife. The first trailer looked freaking incredible.
Yeah, I did.
This seemed funny.
They're doing away with all that though.
Definitely.
It's not the same.
Yeah, you know what? That's exactly what I was gonna say. Is what this kind of reminded me of is that like Jurassic World short that we got from Colin Trevorrow not that long ago to kind of be like,
that's right.
We know you guys weren't happy with that last Jurassic World, right? So
we know you hate it.
I'm gonna make you guys I'm putting out this little tease for you guys to like see that you guys are gonna be in good hands on this one. This reminded me of that. I actually thought this clip was hilarious. It was exactly the type of thing I want to see out of a Ghostbusters. It was hilarious with that little hint of like this is gonna have some pretty good suspense to it too. I could see that. It's got that little, that ridiculous kind of over the top type horror that Ghostbusters has, along with the mystery and the suspense and everything that I would want in a Ghostbusters movie. And it's got Paul Rudd. Everybody likes Paul Rudd, so I think that this is going to be like a really, really fun time. I'm very excited. It just makes me a little more upset watching this though, because I'm like, we're still not going to get it for a little while. You know, I'm tired of waiting. You're supposed to see this last summer, and it's definitely on my list for most anticipated. I think that this movie, I hope to God this movie absolutely destroys. I think it definitely has the potential to, and I'm glad in the sense that like this did show me that I think we're in good hands this time around, especially this clip, you know. So really happy to see it. I hope we get to see just a little bit more before the movie comes out. I'm sure there will be like a final trailer, and then I'm in. I mean, I'm ready to go. So yeah.
Paul Rudd, who just turned 52 recently and does not age and has
really though
the secret of youth somehow.
Really though, he does for sure.
You literally even like you watched him in Clueless, and now I mean he's obviously aged from when he was in Clueless, but you're like, but he's like
not
the
much.
Face is the
it's
same.
like
His
teenager
skin and
to
face
like
is
20s.
the same. It's just
like
literally. It's like it's the teenager to 20s. That's how it looks. And he's 52. That movie came out in like 95 something.
Insane.
Like that.
And you could argue he looks more attractive now. Like he has that George Clooney thing. You know what I mean?
You're right. No, you're right. He does. Yeah.
But,
like fine wine, unproblematic white men.
Some guys have that. It's weird.
For sure.
Some guys have that. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this too. I'm with you guys. I was kind of surprised. There was like a lot of like backlash, I guess, about the Stay Puft stuff on Twitter. I was seeing a lot of grown men mad about baby marshmallow men.
Well, they're not comfortable with themselves.
Very toxic Ghostbusters fan base that, you know, cried like babies about an all-female cast in 2016. Like I'm getting kind of whiffs of that coming back. But yeah, I mean, it was cool. Like I like the dark humor, like you're talking about, like with it kind of reminded me of like Gremlins. You know how they're like they were roasting a Stay Puft over the fire. I thought
they're roasting themselves.
Yeah, that was kind of funny. And I mean, it's like when in doubt, make a baby version. We saw it with Baby Yoda, and you know it works. You know, it's not complete nostalgia, but it's the mini baby version.
Yeah.
And people love babies.
Yeah.
So
right on.
And I don't know why people are mad at. Like, I even love the Gremlins. Speaking of Gremlins, that Mountain Dew commercial that they have. I thought that was hilarious. Like, you know what I mean? It's people act like these movies aren't made to make money and aren't, you know, marketing tools. Like they're just they are. So
at the end of the day, it's a business.
Yeah.
Movies
you know what
are
I mean?
business.
Yeah. 100%.
If Gizmo wants to show up in a commercial, like that's cool. I think it's funny.
For sure.
They're gonna do the same thing with the Stay Puft. I'm sure there's gonna be a Stay Puft marshmallow release when it comes out. That's cool.
Yeah. For sure. And, you know, my question to the audience again, what do you guys think of the Ghostbusters little mini Puffs teaser? Let us know in the comment section below. And don't be gatekeepers. Come on, everybody can have their own opinions. So
yeah. Oh, and Jason Reitman, too. Just quick thing about Jason Reitman.
Oh, he's great.
I like almost all of his movies.
Yeah, me too. I agree with that.
We had this conversation on
the ones I've seen I like.
My stereo show like the other day, me and my co-host, and we're pretty much in agreement. Like almost all of his movies are like really solid. So he's not done a sci-fi movie like this.
True,
granted, but I mean he's
great.
got talent.
Yeah,
like he's
Up in the air. By the way,
it seems to be it's gonna be
Up in the Air is the best. Anyway, sorry, go ahead, Zim.
I don't know if I've seen Up in the Air.
That
sounds
love
really,
Up in the
really
Air.
familiar.
It's still my favorite.
Is that the George
great.
Clooney movie? Up in the Air.
Yeah,
is that George Clooney and Anna Kendrick?
Yep.
And
okay, I have seen it. That was a good movie. I haven't seen it in a long time, but it was good.
Yeah.
But you know, he really seems to understand. Like he's really good at characters. I think he's really good at character building and character relationships.
I like young adult a lot too.
Butter. I love young adult. That's such a good one.
I still need to see it. I'm not gonna lie. I need to see young adult.
That might be my favorite.
Okay.
Honestly.
All right, I'll check it out. I'll let you know. Yeah. I love Jason.
Charlize Theron is amazing in that.
Okay.
Oh my god.
Right, I'll check it out.
Yeah.
And Patton Oswalt.
Not gonna spoil it, but the part where she like explodes, you know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm talking about.
She has a rage scene. It's pretty epic.
She just goes off.
Did Reitman do Reitman didn't do Tully, did he? He did do Tully.
He did.
I love
Tully, right?
I love Tully. That's right. Yeah.
That's good, but I feel like watching an adult, that was like my bar, and so Tully didn't really.
I see.
It didn't reach it.
I could see
but it's
that.
still good. It's still good.
It's a really
but
good movie.
I prefer
really
young adult. Maybe because I am a young adult still inside.
Right.
Either way, I love Jason Reitman. I own most of his movies. I love most of his movies. He really Up in the Air is still my favorite.
Juno as well. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Juno got the much needed love when it came out.
Juno's
so
great.
Yeah.
Happy that it was so acclaimed.
For sure. For sure. All right. What's next?
All right, next up we have, this was really exciting news for me. I could not be happier about this. We have a Fleabag joins the adventure. It's the subline. Indiana Jones 5. Phoebe Waller-Bridge is cast alongside Harrison Ford. So Phoebe Waller-Bridge is going to be joining the cast of Indiana Jones 5. And we have no news on who she's going to be playing, how she's going to be involved, but we do know that she is, everyone is assuming based on her very high profile that she will be one of the film's leads. I cannot be happier about this. I am obsessed with Fleabag. I love Phoebe Waller-Bridge. Yeah. I think, I heard her in Indiana Jones and I was like, yeah, yes, that makes complete sense to me. 2 + 2 = 4. This is perfect to me.
Yeah.
What do you guys think? I'm stoked.
Well, listen, I've seen a total of 2 episodes of Fleabag, and I think that the show just absolutely sucks.
But coming in hot.
That said, I think Phoebe Waller-Bridge in that show, this is the only thing I've seen her in. She is amazing in the show. Her
Sam is
performance
so mad at you.
is incredible.
I'm so offended.
I
thought you were joking for a minute. I
was like, no.
And I'm like, I've seen both seasons numerous times.
Listen, I would like to
times.
watch more of it and see how it is, for sure. I want to give it more of a chance, but
maybe we should watch it so I can
Okay.
Make sure you're on the same page as I am.
Sure. Yeah. I did not like the first 2 episodes whatsoever. I couldn't get into them. I had a really hard time with them, to be honest, but I thought she was fantastic and she was definitely the shining spot of it. And I was like, I want to see her do more in something else other than this, please God, because this show is just not working for this actress that well. This story is just not good. So if you put this actress, you don't think
the story of Fleabag fits Phoebe Waller-Bridge?
She's great. The show fucking blows, but she is.
This needs to be the clip we use to promote this
episode.
This needs to be the clip.
Sorry. Anyway, I'm trying to say something.
Are you sure you were watching Fleabag? Are you sure? Are you sure?
I'm trying to say something relevant to the story here. Give me a second here. Okay, so anyway,
Indiana Jones.
Right, Indiana Jones. Let's focus.
The whip.
Let's focus.
The hat.
I was just using Fleabag as it's the only thing I've seen her in, but that said, I think putting her in an Indiana Jones type of setting, perfect. I could see this working out really, really well. And when I heard this announcement, by the way, I don't think it's in this article for some reason, but it was supposed to be. But John Williams also got announced for the score. So just so everybody knows, confirmed.
It was in the article. Yeah,
it's not in this one that's on the Facebook page for whatever reason, but
it is in this article.
It is.
Yeah, it is.
I
just was reading it on IGN.
It wasn't the day that I was looking at it, but anyway,
maybe they updated
this.
it.
I did scan through this one. This is the one I did scan through. But anyway, no, I think she's great. I've always wanted to see her do something else than that god awful show. So I think putting her in an Indy 5 is just fantastic, because I could see her just really blending into an Indiana Jones type of universe, you know what I mean? And I think that can work really, really well. But yeah, who needs Amazon Prime anyway? But yeah, Cisco, what do you got?
You do.
How are you gonna watch The Boys or Invincible?
How are you gonna watch The Boys?
I subscribe for The Boys, and then I cancel right before Fleabag comes back. I cancel.
I will say real quick, season 2 of Fleabag is better, and that's saying a lot because I loved season 1. But I will even say season 2 is better.
Okay, how many episodes do I need to watch? Because I know that there's a lot of shows. Hold on, hold on. Let me finish my question, because I know there's a lot of shows I watch. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
Fleabag's got me grumpy.
Hot.
Fleabag's got me grumpy. Listen, there's a lot of shows I watch. There's a lot of shows I watch where I'm like, you got to get to this episode before you start to appreciate it. So my question was, how many episodes do you think of Fleabag? How many episodes of this god-awful show do you think I need to get through in order to start appreciating it? That's my question.
Oh man, here's the thing. I think you might actually really like the first episode of season 2. So I'm like, you know what? I think I really could just explain season 1 to you.
No, I want to watch season 1.
You don't need to.
No, fuck it. I'm going to watch season 1. I'll let you know how it is.
I mean, for me, I was hooked by the first episode.
Okay,
so
I was not.
That's hard for me.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Good for you.
I don't know. I don't remember what I think it might be the last one, but there's a part where like she kind of spills the beans and you kind of click everything together.
All right.
Maybe by then, but I don't remember.
Okay, so I got to go through a whole season of this to appreciate too. Okay, all right, great, good enough. Anyway,
but season 2 is so good.
All right, I'll get to it.
Season 2 is like one of the most incredible seasons of TV.
Sammy, you're watching the Clone Wars for me. I will watch Fleabag for you. Okay, I promise.
Thank you. Exactly.
That seems fair.
I'm being fair. I'll watch it.
Thank you.
I promise you, I will watch the show.
Nice.
Okay, I'll report back and let you know how it is.
Nice.
I can tell you the first 2 episodes I dropped out though. Specifically, this is one of those shows I was like, this is terrible. And then like I think she's great. She's a great actress, but like the show was just, I don't know what was going on. Anyway, Cisco, what do you got?
I've seen a grand total of 0 episodes of Fleabag.
Good for you, sir.
So I have no dog in this fight.
Good.
I can't.
You
really
have
speak.
to watch it. You should watch it.
Yeah, you're giving me shit. At least I gave it a shot. I mean,
I know, like you should watch. It's so freaking good. I feel like what I know of your taste, you would like it.
In my defense, though,
it's a really good story.
I'm more of a film person and a TV person, so don't be surprised if I haven't seen TV shows on here.
Yeah. Fair enough.
It is. It's like
I've heard
30-minute episodes, and it's six episodes a season, and there's 2 seasons, and
it's
they're
always
like
like winning
minutes.
Emmys, right?
Wait, there's only 6 episodes?
Per season.
Oh, okay, that's not too bad. All right, good.
And yeah, it swept the Emmys that the year that
I've heard
the
great
second
things.
season came out. Yeah, the second season was the one that
and
like
that's where
swept.
I heard of it. I think was when I was watching Emmys. Like, damn, this Fleabag show was fucking sweeping everything.
Well, that's good to know. I felt like it was going to be like a 24 episode show when I started.
Oh no,
like,
it's not.
It was,
I can't do that sometimes. If it's like something I've never heard of, like damn, 24.
Do you know how it was started? So if Phoebe Waller-Bridge, it's her. She wrote a one-woman play.
Right?
Yeah, well, she wrote a one-woman play called Fleabag. That was basically the story of the first season, but condensed.
Okay.
And she did that on the West. She did that on the West End, and that was like a really popular show. And then she was like translated it to film or TV.
Is it like a dirty comedy?
Yes.
Okay,
it's like
I probably might like it then.
It's all dirty, no comedy, essentially.
It's a lot. Yeah. A part of Fleabag's thing is that like she loves sex, but she uses it because that's like the only kind of love and affection that she gets. So it's a lot of that in that kind of area.
So I won't speak on that because, like I said, I have no dog in the fight. I can't really speak on her.
Well,
I haven't seen her anything
she's
else.
having sex throughout the whole show. Like, it's like,
you act like that's a bad thing.
It is. I don't want to watch a porno. I want to watch this. I want to watch a narrative.
It's because she has so much trauma, and that's the way that's like the only way that she feels truly loved and affected.
Well, I want to see the
intimate.
trauma. When do I get to the trauma? Because like,
it gets there.
I want to see the sex, sir. That's what I want to see in my dirty comedy.
Oh, you're fucking pervert. That's different. Like me,
you want to see trauma?
I want to see a story.
Yeah.
I want to see a story.
The story is so good. Oh my god, guys, the story is so good.
So I get a story after 2 episodes
the character
of sex,
Fleabag
right?
is like
there was a whole show called Sex in the City that all women watch. I don't want to hear about I'm a pervert, okay?
Yeah.
And 50 Shades of Grey trilogy.
Literally.
Whole trilogy
one of my favorite shows of all time.
A lot of women like that. That's why it was a trilogy.
They don't actually like them as films. They like them as porns. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Like this. This might have a story. Like Fleabag aside, Fleabag might have a story. I'm gonna get through it. Once I get to the story part, I'll report back and let you know.
This is just my side thesis of like there needs to be more sex in films and TV.
Yeah.
I'm tired of this this puritanical. Yeah. You know, oh no, we can't. We're better than that. Like no. Right. Sex is a part of life. Why not?
Exactly.
Anyway,
like, one of my favorite shows of all time is Girls from HBO, Lena Dunham's show. I was obsessed with that show. And oh my god, they have sex like every single episode. and it's like you see it all different types.
Not even sex either. It's like romance. Like that's part of my problem with the MCU. Yeah. Like none of those people like have any romantic interest in anything. It's like, really? Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? What?
It's very light.
I mean, they do, but they're lame. They're usually it's Natalie Portman and Thor and like.
Yeah, I mean, like. Yeah, like what was the great, like I'm trying to think like what would be the greatest MCU love
Chris
stories,
Evans
like Wanda and Vision,
Peggy
maybe?
Carter,
right?
Steve and Peggy, maybe.
Yeah,
maybe those two.
They're all lame, and they don't really focus on them.
Right.
Anyway,
but anyways,
the first 2 episodes of Fleabag.
Indiana Jones.
Yeah, I'm trying to get to it.
Hold on, real quick. I'm just gonna say I thought the first 2 episodes of Fleabag were great, so I'll get through the rest of it, and then So go ahead, Cisco.
But yeah, I really did. I thought it was a bit.
It was a bit. You didn't get it?
The only thing I can speak on is James Mangold.
I don't trust
you. Went through all that.
I promise, I actually liked it. I was just fucking with it because I knew you loved the show so much.
What a long con! What a long con!
I haven't seen it in a while. I did drop out because I didn't like it, so I just wanted to clear it up for the audience too. It was a bit because I knew
that was a Shyamalan
so much. That was a Shyamalan twist. Right, I even called you out too. I said I thought you absolutely were doing a bit, and then I realized you won it.
I absolutely loved the first 2 episodes of Fleabag. I love them. I want to get through it. I want to get through it because I actually absolutely loved it. But like I was taking the position of like a lot of criticisms I heard there because I wanted to fuck with you so bad. So I'm so sorry, everybody. And then you guys kept talking, and I was like, I didn't have my chance to tell you I was fucking with you, so I was just like, all right, I'm just gonna let it go. But anyway, sorry, Cisco.
Wow.
Now that we're here,
sorry
about that.
Now we can't skip past that. That's
I know.
What?
God,
sorry about that, guys.
How can we believe anything you say, Dom?
I know.
Did you like the Hitman's Bodyguard?
No, I absolutely hated that one. That one I actually hated. No, Fleabag. I loved the first 2 episodes. I thought she was great, and I
what else? You hate the Snyder Cut? You hate the Last Jedi too? What else?
Love the Last Jedi masterpiece.
Sure.
God damn, I don't like cry wolf over here. I told you it was a bit like 2 seconds later, or 5 minutes later. But yeah, anyway.
I guess he did take you back pretty fast.
No, it's because I know you love the show. I wanted to get a reaction. I thought it'd be fun for this show.
Watch 5 minutes later, he's like, I'm kidding, I hated it again.
All right, Indy 5, Cisco.
By the way, I was kidding.
I will watch Fleabag with you, though, if you want to, because I really like the first 2 episodes. All right, anyway, sorry,
I'll
Cisco.
believe it when I see it.
All right.
Same thing with Ghostbusters. I'm a huge James Mangold fan. He did the best Wolverine movie. He's been on fire. I liked Ford v Ferrari. Thought that was cool. I think he's a good director. I hated Indy 4. Thought it didn't need to be made. I don't know how they're gonna pull it off with Harrison Ford just being like ancient and trying to be this action adventure character still. But we'll see. Like that's all I can say is and John Williams being back, that's another positive. I'm trying to think of the positives. John Williams and James Mangold. That's why I'm gonna go see this movie.
So you don't. So, I mean, clearly you can't give an opinion on Phoebe Waller-Bridge yet because
and that's what I said. That's why I said it out at the top.
Right,
I have no opinion on her casting. So
I could tell you, me knowing you, like, and what you like, I think so far, like, I think
I'd like it.
I think you would think it was a good choice. Like, I think you'd be a guy who would agree with us that this is a really good choice for this.
The fact they're putting a comedic actress though, that's a good thing. Like, it's gonna bring some levity to the film probably.
I could see her working in that, like, sort of like that, kind of like Indiana Jones humor. Like, I could see
you need that
with her accent and like all that. Like, I could just see it working really well. Sorry, Sammy, I didn't mean to step on your point.
Oh, no, you're good. Yeah. I was gonna ask what do you guys think her character would be, or what are you hoping it would be? Because I think what would be really cool is if she was like kind of doing the Indiana Jones thing on her own, and she doesn't realize that this old I think it'd be cool if she was a professor at whatever university Indiana Jones was teaching at, and she also started to go on her own little adventures, and then later she realizes that, like, the old grandpa teacher also does this stuff. I think that would be really cool. That'd be my first theory.
I was kind of heading toward like a fellow archaeologist type deal, something like that. That was where my mind was that. Like, I could just see her in that like archaeologist attire, can't you? Like,
yes,
for some reason, like
she's so cool,
yeah.
but
she has that
smart
classical
and
look,
classy.
Right. I just think that would work really well. So I want to see something like that maybe. And
she's definitely gonna be like the sassy sidekick. I feel like
I
mean, gonna call Indy out on his shit.
This might be who he passes the torch of the Indiana Jones 2. You know what I mean? For the future franchises.
Maybe Shia LaBeouf will come back. Who knows?
He might. You never know. Probably not anymore, but you know,
young Indy.
I actually was holding out.
Well, it's his son, right? So I mean, maybe.
Yeah.
Listen,
it's his actual child,
Indy Jr.
I mean, I was holding out hope. I actually thought that maybe you can give Shia another chance, in one of these and like see how it goes. But like now, with all these recent accusations, I don't see it happening. So
yeah,
that's what I think. Phoebe Waller-Bridges. I think it was whoever they were gonna put. Shia, I think they were gonna have Shia LaBeouf, and then they were like, oh fuck, we gotta get Phoebe Waller-Bridge now because
as long as they don't have any refrigerators and like flying monkeys, they're already off to a good start.
And aliens, can we not do aliens?
Swinging
for
monkey.
the love of God.
And aliens, that was the other thing I was gonna say. Yeah,
I wouldn't mind aliens. I don't think aliens are such a bad
aliens.
concept. Like, if you execute it well, I don't think it's bad. Like, I think the Crystal Skull like mythology is like really really cool and fascinating. Like, if you look it up, you know what I mean. But like that stuff is really cool and fascinating. It was just executed poorly and very cartoonish.
The fridge is my biggest hurdle. Like,
the fridge.
No more
the
fridge.
Yeah, the fridge was wild.
You want to really rubbed you the wrong way.
Yeah, you want to survive a nuclear blast? Just go in the fridge.
I'll never forget going to see that in the theater, and it was me and my buddy Lance, and we were sitting next to this random kid. We didn't even know him, but the part when they like drove the car off the cliff and it landed on this tree branch, and then like the tree branch held the entire vehicle.
Oh yeah,
my buddy Lance goes, he just goes, yeah, okay, and this kid next to us was just like, he thought it was so funny.
Like he knew it was dumb. He was like, nice.
I might have only seen that movie once, honestly. I don't think
I've seen it a few times. I loved it when I was a kid. When I was a kid, I loved it. I thought it was great. I obviously
I just love the trilogy so much. It's like I don't even acknowledge it.
I remember because I had just seen I didn't see Raiders of the Lost Ark until later, but for some reason we had The Last Crusade on VHS at my house.
They're all amazing.
So I remember, and we watched it like because my whole family went and saw it in the theaters.
Yeah.
Crystal Skull, and so I had just seen Last Crusade and loved it, and I was just like, "This is not that. What was this? Like that was."
Yeah.
I was comparing it to it the whole.
Well, the trilogy has like a very like common like. They all feel like they fit together almost. You know what I mean? And so like,
oh, beautiful.
Still have my VHS. This is the.
Nice.
The fourth one just feels like and just added like
nice,
unnecessary.
Yeah.
Sequel. It was just different. I couldn't even tell. I just knew it felt different.
Yeah, it definitely felt different. It definitely felt different. I just think as a kid, like I definitely acknowledged like the, unrealistic and very cartoonish aspects of that movie, like as a kid. But on the same hand, I think that there was something about it that spoke to me, and like I'll always kind of have that with it. You know what I mean? Like I recognize it's not a good movie, but it's like the Star Wars prequels. I don't like them, but I recognize that Attack of the Clones and Phantom Menace aren't good movies, but like there's something about the way that it spoke to me as a kid that I'll just still always have with it. And I definitely don't revisit that one as much as I revisit, say, Attack of the Clones and Phantom Menace by any means. Like if I'm watching Indy, it's typically Raiders for me, but Last Crusade. But
perfect
other than
movie.
That, yeah, they're both great, and then those are typically the two I'm going back to watch. But I mean, I don't mind giving Kingdom of the Crystal Skull a rewatch, and making fun of the things that are bad in it. It just also while trying to, I don't know. I mean, it's not so bad. It's like I don't accept this as canon. It's not like one of those things. But it's, I don't know. That's where I'm at with it. What's next?
All right.
And I like Fleabag. Just so everybody knows.
Sure you do.
100%.
Sure.
Yeah, sure. Again, I'll believe it when I see it. All right. The Collector Trilogy might not receive its final film.
No!
Its filmmakers.
Sorry.
Yeah, I know. It might not be happening after all, as the filmmakers Marcus Dunstan and Patrick Melton claim they are being ignored by producers. Dustin and Melton talked about their very own development hell with The Thing with two heads on what is it called? The Thing with Two Heads podcast. And the duo was clearly disappointed that their trilogy might not get a conclusion. And then I have their statement as well. They said, I invested in this thing. I'd like to know what's happening. We stopped hearing from anybody with the production. I know most of the props I bought there in Vancouver have been stolen. I think that anybody else who invested in this movie thinks that the collection is happening. Wouldn't they like to know what's happening? All calls and emails are going unanswered. When you can't get anyone on the phone and you don't hear anything at this point, I'm really pissed off. Exact quote. So yikes.
Wow.
And I don't have much an opinion on this, so you guys can take it.
It also says, I'm reading more into it too, they don't have the rights to the property, and so even if they tried to they couldn't even bring it to other producers if they wanted to. So
big yikes.
Looks like they're in a pretty tight position here. I don't know. I'm not like a huge fan of the other ones, to be honest, though. But I mean, that does suck that they can't, you know what I mean, finish their movie. I don't wish that on any filmmaker or anything like that. So, Dom,
I don't want to talk about it. Yeah, Sammy, what's next?
Damn.
No, listen. I mean, here's the thing. I mean, I've said it on the show plenty of times. I was looking forward to this. I love this franchise. Yeah. I know I'm in a minority of like, 3 people, but like I really love this franchise. And
no, my dad loves the movies too.
Yeah, I was so hyped for this. I'm in the rare minority that even like the second one better than the first one, and like I really wanted to see this third installment of it. Now, sure, like I'm glad that the second movie, for those who've seen it out there, that the second film, at least ends in a non-cliffhangery type of way. At least we have that, so it's like it's closed. But like the fact that I was just so hyped for this, the fact that just a month ago on this show we were showing the production photos that came out, it's like, what the hell, it's like, how did that go so quickly?
They've been talking about it for a while, the third one, for sure.
And yeah, I mean, like, for sure they have been, and it was just such a big announcement for fans of this franchise, and this is incredibly upsetting. I mean, in all honesty, like, I mean, the thing is fuck, how do I put this? Like, collector movies are like, I'm not saying that, like, I don't want to like bash a studio for like, being broke right now, you know what I mean? But like, because the pandemic was a hard time, and I understand that studios right now have to make unpopular decisions, but like, if you don't have the money to make a collector movie, because they're not that expensive in movie terms, then why are you ignoring emails? Why wouldn't you want to invest in this? I mean, it's just weird to me that this is the one that they're trying to throw in the towel on. And yeah, I feel very bad for the filmmakers. This is a very unprofessional practice, from a movie studio. This is awful. I mean, this is awful. This is an unusual case, and this is something that it's not a practice that should be used often in Hollywood or at all, actually. So this is terrible. Yeah, I mean, you hear this about shows sometimes where the plug gets pulled last minute, but not like this with movies. I mean, they were in the middle of shooting, and I don't understand it. So
no, that's what I was saying. I'm like, even though I'm not a fan, like I still want people to finish their films, and you know what I mean, the fans of it to have that. I wouldn't wish that on anybody. So
and this could have came out and made you a huge fan of the franchise. Now we'll never know. And that's
it's not. I don't hate. I'd probably say I like the first one more than the second one. Just like the whole home invasion type vibe.
Right.
That was like a different twist on it.
It was cool.
I appreciated. Second one not so much. That's probably where they lost me a little bit, but. I was still gonna see it eventually, probably. So I'm a horror fan, so I do usually keep up with even like franchises I'm not a fan of. I usually do just for the hell of it. Yeah. So, I hope they do get it resolved, and people start answering emails. But the fact they don't have the rights, and they're getting their stuff stolen, it's not looking too good, unfortunately. So. But we're getting another Saw movie, 2 more Saw movies. It's like, geez, I don't know how those, like, some franchises can get like 10 movies, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess because the box office, but who knows?
I don't need it to be Saw. I just wanted a trilogy, and I think that would have been a perfect like ending spot. Just one more. I understand that, you know, they were kind of fighting to get this thing made anyway, you know, and I understand that they were kind of on a, you know, they were kind of on thin ice with it from the very beginning. But still, like, once you make the deal to do it, you know, it's just very unprofessional of your studio to not respond to emails. You would think now they're going to have to put out some kind of statement on it, right? So just kind of awaiting that now that the filmmakers have exposed them in an interview. What they think, that the filmmakers weren't going to say anything out in public, or what? You know, I mean, I just don't understand. But anyway, what's next?
So next up, we have Ben Affleck talking about, or Ben Affleck asked for rewrites for the original script of Batman v Superman.
Yeah.
So we have comicbook.com talking to my mortal enemy, Chris Terrio, about, literally, man,
he's been saying stuff this week enemy. Too, though. Chris Terrio's been talking saying a lot of stuff this week. I don't know if you've read any of it, but it's been crazy.
Not a lot, but I just, like, if I have a mortal enemy in this world, it's Chris Terrio. Like, my God. Our past, just, like, my God. No, all right, anyway. He says he's talking about that Ben Affleck called me and said that he was working on this film, which was a Superman film in which he was going to play Batman. So he asked if I would read the script and consider doing a rewrite. He asked if I could do some character work. So it was already determined and storyboarded that Batman was going to try to kill Superman, and that Batman was going to have gone down a dark road. He was branding criminals, and it had a certain dark elements that were non-negotiable and already in the story. And then he also goes on to talk about how he said that the title, Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice, was not picked by him. And he says that he was as surprised as anyone, and that he personally would not have named it Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice. So good point there, my guy.
Yeah.
I'll give you that one. You're right. I also would not name it that.
No, absolutely not.
But yeah, pretty interesting though.
So
honestly.
what are we gathering here? Is Terrio trying to throw Affleck under the bus for some of the poor decisions in the movie? Because that's what it sounds like a little bit. He's like,
I think he's just trying to get the heat off of him a little bit. Like, he's trying to get some of the heat
that wasn't
off
me, guys. That wasn't me.
The Snyder Cut came out and it was a victory. Like, maybe we don't need to give Terrio too much heat.
And that'll say he's credited as the sole screenwriter.
What heat is he trying to get off? However many years later, you know, it's like, just let it go, dude. Like, I don't know why he's talking about this still. Like, I get that he wants to, like, move on and make your own movie, Chris Terrio, and make it good. Like, make something that's unique to yourself. Go direct and make your own movie. He knows how to use a camera. Snyder's told a lot of stories about how a lot of the lenses that he used actually belonged to Chris Terrio, like, for Batman v Superman. He's a camera guy. He has written, you know, scripts. Go make your own movie, man, and you know, hopefully that one works out. Like, move on. Like, I'm not saying that you shouldn't be honest about things in Hollywood, but this was however many years ago. I just think he should kind of move on from it and quit trying to throw Ben Affleck under the bus. Yeah, Ben Affleck wanted you on board because you helped him with Argo, which was his Best Picture winner. So of course he wanted
and
you
his
to
best
join
script.
the team. Yeah, but when you make bad decisions and you know, start your statement with, oh yeah, Ben Affleck wanted me to come on board. It's like, well, we knew that, but it's not his fault that you didn't know how to write this story, you know? He wanted you on board, and it's that's between you and the studio. That's whose fault that is. So I just think that this story in particular is dumb. Like, Ben Affleck wanted rewrites. What? Like, he might have, but like, still, like, for him to throw Affleck under the bus is, like, to me, like, shady. So here, I bet they never work together again. Anyway, what do you got?
Probably not.
Cisco.
Yeah. I mean, like, if looking at that script, who wouldn't want rewrites? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't. Why is Ben Affleck the villain for that? Like, I don't. Yeah, like,
again, Ben Affleck is an Academy Award-winning screenwriter himself. Like, he knows a couple of things about writing a screenplay.
Yeah,
and that's why I don't blame Ben Affleck for quitting.
Yeah,
exactly. You know what I mean? Like, he's like, yeah, this is obviously not going anywhere. Like, it's not. So yeah, I'm not. I feel like everything he's done since Argo has not been good. So I understand he's trying to get some of the heat off of him. I don't think so. What, Rise of Skywalker?
Oh, you mean Chris Terrio? I'm sorry, Chris Terrio. I'm sorry. No, I thought you meant Affleck.
I love Ben Affleck.
I was gonna say, okay, sorry about that.
Yeah.
I was gonna say,
okay, I haven't even seen The Way Back, but I hear he's great in it. Yeah.
He is great. Really great. He got robbed of a nomination, in my opinion.
Possibly.
No, yeah, it's just but he already has an Oscar, so it's okay, I guess, for Argo.
He's good for now.
And Good Will Hunting.
Yeah, there you go.
But anyways, yeah, like he also said something I read, and I think it was the same interview, or he was saying that, you know, the original BVS script had like Batman branding Lex Luthor at the end,
right?
And he kind of argued against them, like to say like, you know, Batman it has to have an arc where he's not as dark as he was. And I was like, okay, I guess, you know, that kind of makes sense in a way, but it's like little things. It's not like he's acting like, you know, he was the studio stole this from him and completely, and it's like, no, man, like, sorry, your scripts are just not that good.
I just don't understand why this is an issue today. You know what I mean? That's kind of why I'm trying to figure this out. It's like, why is this still an issue? You know, it's like Snyder.
Why is he even speaking about it? You know what I'm saying? Like, people have moved on. I feel like the Snyder Cut was a success.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Why are you talking about it?
Really just like clean the slate.
It seemed like
everything we used to think about it. We're like, for the most part, either some people hate the Snyder Cut and would hate it even more, but like for me, it was just like it's a good clean slate. Like,
but in terms of like the fans and you know what I mean, and it's like I don't understand why he is. That's the original script. I get, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So it's not like, what is he? Yeah, who is his vendetta against? Affleck, the studio? Who is he trying to throw under the bus here?
He didn't really make that clear. It seemed like he was trying to blame everybody but himself.
Everybody, it's not me. Yeah. It's not me.
This is what happened. You know,
it was Ben's idea. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, come on.
Ben Affleck's gonna be fine. He's.
Oh yeah, and I actually think Chris Terrio would be fine if he'd move the fuck on. You know, like I really think he would be great.
Stop letting him work in like IP, like, you know.
That's what I'm saying.
Stop giving him IP for the love of God.
He needs to go make his own original movie. You want to win people
because
back over,
Argo is
write
actually
your
a
own
good
script.
movie and has a good script. Like I saw that in the theater and I was like, this is a good ass movie. Like, and I wasn't mad at one Best Picture. I know some people like quibble about that, but I'm like, that was a good ass movie and it was a good story. And the way that they played it out, like I thought they did a great job.
One Best Picture.
I'm not gonna say I just overall like hate everything Chris Terrio has done. He's capable of that, but I think it's one of those things where, you know, I was listening to this podcast today, and they're talking about the butterfly effect, about how some people winning Oscars affects their career after that, and some people that don't win Oscars affects their career negatively after. So I think this is one of those cases where them winning the Oscar for that negatively affected his career because he has all this clout to like ruin IP instead of, you know, doing other like smaller stories that he's probably better at. You know what I mean? But that's what it's famously though, like actors that win awards like Halle Berry, Catwoman after the Oscar. You know what I'm saying? It's like they don't know what to do after they've reached the pinnacle, and it's like it's sad.
It's like I'm not trying to like root against Chris Terrio here. Like I want to see him go make his own original thing and like move on from this. That's what I'm trying to get to. Is because I'm not rooting against him. It just seems like every time he opens his mouth, it's the same old shit. Like, oh, this wasn't me. Let me explain what this was. You know, it's like, dude, just some people are gonna like your movies, other people aren't gonna like your movies. You know, like just move on from it and make something else. You know, and direct it or something, like make an original like indie smaller film, and then maybe you can, you know, be that next
You think
thing.
Studios know at this point like not to hire him for IP?
God, I hope that this was the last straw. Like, you know, like I really
It's been 3 times now. Three different
strikes and you're out.
It's been 3 movies. Two different universes.
I mean, if he talks about this is the other thing too, if he goes into like if he talks about other people like this in the industry, they're not going to want to hire him.
That's what I think is going to happen. He's blackballing himself.
Right. They're not going to want to hire him
by
anyway.
doing his interviews.
Exactly.
So,
and
I don't know.
The more and more he tries to like put blame on other people, which he does this frequently. He does this. I think the less they're gonna want to hire him. You know, like I'm sorry if that happened to you. Like I'm sorry if you had a bad experience. You know, but you got to move on.
A lot of people had bad experiences though. Look at all the Ray Fisher and Gal Gadot and their experience with Joss Whedon. Like And you're not the only one that had a rough time with these movies. Like, clearly.
Yeah, and like I hate to say it, like even Ray Fisher, he doesn't deserve this by any means, but I even think he's gonna have a harder time getting hired after his thing, you know, because it's that's gonna follow you for the rest of your life. I'm not saying you shouldn't speak out about issues you had. That's not the point I'm trying to make here. Like, especially in Ray Fisher's case, like he should definitely speak out.
I
about
think he'll still
like
have
that.
a good career.
I hope so. Again, I don't root against any
He was
of
the
these
highlight
people.
of the Snyder Cut for me, or one of the highlights.
For sure. He was great in the Snyder Cut. I hope he gets a great career out of this. My point is this. My point is this is like, if you're gonna, you know, like, if speak out about it, you know, but then move on. You know what I mean? Like we need to, like, you know, move on from it. Like, I'm sorry it was a bad thing that affected you. You know what I mean? But if you don't, like, try to find something like that's like more in your wheelhouse, you know what I mean? Like,
just not IP. Just do different.
That's my point.
Like original stories.
Argo was a true story. Like, find a good meaty true story and write. Yeah, that's like a really good starting off point. Like, and just do that.
Right. Like Ray Fisher might get roles again, but like I don't think he's going to be working in big blockbusters for a long time, because not only because he won't get hired, he had a bad experience with it. And like Chris Terrio,
maybe that's a good thing though. Maybe
it might be. It could be a great thing
because he's talented.
Exactly.
He's talented as an actor.
Exactly. And I don't root against either of these guys. I'm just saying they just both need to find their way and like quit. You know, I mean, like Ray Fisher's thing, of course, completely different. I'm not trying to say that, but Chris Terrio's thing, he's playing the victim when a lot of this was his fault, and like that doesn't look good. That doesn't look
You're
good.
part of the problem, bro.
That doesn't look good. You know what I mean? It's different, I guess, but like it's just like when you have that kind of like bad, you know, whatever you want to call it, bad clout, I guess, like it follows you for the rest of your career, and I think that people need to be very cognizant of that when they talk about it. And Chris Terrio clearly, for about the third or fourth time now, has not been cognizant of the things he says when he's talking about, you know, why you know people didn't like his movie. It's like that's just gonna happen all the time, man. Just some people are gonna like it, other people aren't gonna like it. So just move on, quit working for this corporate shit, you know, and make your own shit, dude, and maybe people love it. I don't know. I get it, but still. Anyway,
and of course, esteemed actor Ben Affleck would want a rewrite on that shit. Like,
oh man,
he doesn't want to look stupid. He didn't want to look bad. Like, just look at sad Affleck. Like that, he was clearly miserable during that time.
Is the best. He's one of the best memes.
I felt bad for him, but it's not his fault. He tried his best. I feel like in BVS.
He did.
So
he did.
You know,
for sure. I agree. Anyway, what's next?
Nice. Awesome. Next up, this is some really big news in just the entertainment industry. Netflix inks a deal for rights to Sony movies, including the upcoming Spider-Man films. So Netflix has reached a multi-year agreement with Sony Pictures for the domestic streaming rights to the studio's theatrical movies. The deal will start with Sony's Pictures 2022 movie slate. As part of the pact, Netflix will have a first look option to pick up movies Sony is making or licensing specifically for their streaming platforms.
Right.
Netflix has committed to ordering an undisclosed number of those films, and which will include any future Spider-Man films or Venom, Morbius, all including those as well.
All right. So here's the thing. I don't feel like for myself that this is something that like excites me. Like I was thinking about canceling Netflix anyway. You know, I don't use it a whole lot. So I just think that this doesn't really get me back on board necessarily for Netflix. But I think for a lot of people, it's going to. You know what I mean? Like a lot of the reason is like, what does Sony have? Spider-Man, Venom. I buy that shit anyway. You know what I mean? I don't need to know my Netflix account to be able to enjoy that. But that said, I think it's really, really cool. I think one of the smart things that Sony did here is they let the streaming wars kind of start to play out, and then they were like, you know what, like we're not gonna like go spend money on our own service. We're just gonna make this huge deal with Netflix. You know what I mean? And now that's the positive side of it. I think is the Sony part. You know, the Sony making their big win, and you know it is a win for Netflix to get Sony properties. I want to know where in the hell Netflix got $1 billion to pay Sony for this, though. This seems like a really bad business move on Netflix's part, with all the money that we hear that they're in, you know, that they lose every year, and how much debt that they're in. Like, I get like where the money comes from. Don't get me wrong, but I'm saying like my point is like, Is this going to generate enough subscribers, do you think? Do you think just having the Sony properties is going to generate enough subscriptions to make up for not only this $1 billion loss now, but the $1 billion debt that they already had? I don't see this happening, and I think that this might have been a risky move on Netflix's part. I get you got to take risks in this industry, especially right now with, you know, the streaming wars going on and everything. I just don't see this lasting. But and something else, another detail I wanted to point out about this is when they actually get the movie on their platform, what they essentially acquired wasn't like the Sony library. So like, I want people to like not make mistakes about this. What they actually acquired was the right to have anything from the Sony library onto their platform. So the difference here is that, you know, when they, you know, get a movie onto their platform, they have that movie for 18 months and then they need to renegotiate licensing. That's what they bought the rights for with their $1 billion, not to forever have whatever they want. You know, it's not a free pass to all Sony. So, you know, I went ahead and did my research on this one beforehand.
Yeah, they get the first dibs.
They get first dibs, exactly. So that's where it gets a little risky for me. And like, you know, I don't know, like, you know, what kind of, you know, licensing fees they're gonna, you know, be charging for this, like in the 18 months after they, you know, take, like, say Spider-Man Far From Home's on there, you know, 18 months later, is it still gonna be? You know, I mean, did Netflix gain their subscribers back to keep it on there? I don't know. I mean, we're just gonna have to wait and see on that. But I don't know. What do you think, Sammy? Do you think that this was a good move or?
I mean, yes. I want to say yes because I think, again, in the world of the streaming wars, then for Netflix to be able to have not only their like own personally produced major films be released on their platform, but now you also have Sony's, which again, like, because like if, like, I doubt this will happen, but like if Spider-Man 4 or whatever comes out on Netflix, every single person is getting, who doesn't have a Netflix account, is getting a Netflix account to at least watch that. So I think it's smart for that, for sure. But I mean, it's definitely, I mean, again, it's definitely not every single Sony movie going on there, but I think they will be smart about it and pick the ones that they know that their subscribers are going to want and the ones that that are going to draw the most numbers.
I don't know.
Hopefully they are. I want to believe they will be smart about it.
And don't get me wrong, like, I understand that this was like something that like a lot of different platforms were bidding on. You know what I mean? Like they said that like everybody bid on this, you know, and you know Netflix was the highest bidder. But you know, my question is, do you think that they needed to go as high as $1 billion for this or not? Because like that is a big number just to acquire just the first dibs. If you were going to acquire the library, that would be a little different to me. But you're not. You're requiring first dibs for 18 months at a time, and then you got to renegotiate after that. That's what's very scary about this. And I think of all the streaming platforms right now, I don't know, it's tough. Like, I mean, Netflix has lost a lot, you know, over the years, like, and for them to have Sony with like not a lot on top of it, you know, to me is just,
Netflix just seems to have it. Netflix, I just feel like, doesn't have the longevity that a lot of other streaming platforms seem to have, and that's mainly because most of their series, it's, you know, you get the whole season in one day. Like, we release it on this day and it's the whole season, so everybody binge watches it in like a weekend and then never thinks about it ever again. You know, that's, I think, is the Netflix problem there versus, you know, like HBO Max and Hulu, and even they do their series week to week. And Disney Plus especially, so that way you keep coming back, you keep adding subscribers, you keep adding weeks and weeks to the bill.
Yeah, for sure. And I definitely want to pose a certain question to Cisco here on this, because another thought that I had that is actually that this could be a major positive, or what could make it a major positive, is the fact that, like, let's say that Sony decides to like really double down here and then they make like their own Spider-Verse show, right? Sony would be funding that, but it could be like Netflix's biggest series yet if Netflix wants to get the first dibs, which they now have. So thinking about that, is what I think is really cool. The fact that Sony can now make series with their Spider-Man properties. I mean, I don't know. I would think that that'd be the way to go. Sony funds it, Netflix puts it out. There's really that would be something that could gain subscribers because you wouldn't get that anywhere else. You know what I mean? So I don't know, Cisco. What do you think? Do you think with this deal comes a a Spider-Man type series indefinitely, or something that takes place in the Spider-Verse?
I mean, I think they're gonna take advantage of the IP for sure. Like, I think I'm with Sammy. Like, I think they're gonna be smart about it because, like, with the every streamer is kind of having their own. Like, Disney has all the Disney content, and HBO has like the Warner Brothers, and I think Netflix is trying to get in on that and like tell people that we have, all these properties like like Spider-Man and Uncharted. They'll also get like Bad Boys, Jumanji. Like those are so there's some big franchises to have. And I was just kind of looking over the numbers when you guys are talking to. I guess it says that Netflix's content budget was $15 billion for this year. Mm-hmm. So 1 billion is like a fraction of that. Even though like it seems like, like a crazy number. If that's like what their spending was, like I feel like that's a good move.
Okay.
Like on their part
that's a fair point.
To try and get that. And I think they're still good. Like, it also says like in this article I'm reading that they still have the edge when it comes to other streamers in terms of like subscribers and stuff like
true.
that.
Yeah.
So I think they're going to be good. I think it's a good move. They're trying to establish, like, I feel like where Netflix is lacking compared to other ones is like the blockbuster element. Like Disney and HBO Max are kind of taking hold of that. Mm-hmm. And so I think this is like a move for Netflix to be like, okay, we're going to have our own blockbuster rollout thing too. Like, so don't, like, you know what I mean? Don't count us out in terms of that. And so I think it's smart. I think it's smart in that way they can eventize these certain releases, like how HBO Max is doing this year. I think they're doing a great job in doing that. And so, I think it's smart for them to kind of adapt, and that's what Netflix has been doing. I think that's why they've lasted so long. And so I think it's a long, like they're thinking ahead in the future. Like I think it's a 5-year deal I read. So they're thinking long-term about how, and even if it doesn't work immediately, I think they're going to adjust and make it work. And they also have back catalogs of Sony's for stuff that they want to put on there too. And that's a huge catalog in itself.
100%. Yeah, no, I'm not saying that there's no reward to this whatsoever. I definitely think that there is. Now, one of the things I'll say, because you were talking about their content budget, I personally think they spend way too much on content every year anyway. I've been saying this for a long time. Like, if you add in the amount of debt that they're in, they already spend way too much on content. So, and you saying that they have
that's
the edge.
That's a fun thing. Like, anybody listening, if you don't know about how much debt Netflix is in, go down that Google rabbit hole.
Huge.
Oh, it's a time.
Yeah, 100%. And like the thing is like, my fear is like, yes, they do have the edge right now with, their subscriber base right now for sure. But my question is like, how much further can that go up? If they already have the edge, how much further can that go up? Now, given you factor in like every year somebody new turns 18 and they go off to college and they need to get their own Netflix account or whatever, But my question is like, still, like, how much further does that go up from here when we have all these different services that we need to choose from? Is Spider-Man going to be enough? Like, when you can go to your Vudu account and just rent it or buy it for whatever amount, is that going to be enough? Are the Spider-Man properties going to be enough? Is Jumanji going to be enough? You know what I mean? And one of the things about Sony content that kind of worries me here is the fact that a lot of their content appeals to a bunch of different types of fans too. And like, it's not all one fan, you know what I mean? Like with Disney, a lot of people, like, we know what the Disney brand is. We go there for, a lot of their stuff has the same amount, same kind of fans. I don't feel that way for Sony, in terms of their like actual content. Like, I don't feel that way. I feel like it's like maybe Spider-Man and Jumanji are similar, but I feel like they also make like a lot of other things on their back catalog that's not for the Spider-Man, Jumanji type of fans. You know what I mean? And I just don't know how much Netflix is going to want to pull from that. I think that they're going to be, in my mind, they're thinking Spider-Man, Jumanji alone. Let's go. Like that. Those are what we're going to be putting up, not this back catalog stuff. They could, we'll see how that goes, but I think it's going to be the big stuff that they're banking on right now, and I think that they could make that mistake early on, just by putting those up alone. And Cisco's right, they should take from the back catalog, because I think that would be where the bigger appeal would be.
I think they'll do both.
I hope
Netflix
so.
does.
I hope so. I'm just afraid with the licensing fees that come with it, they're not going to want to renegotiate contracts for all these different things. Again, I don't work for Netflix. I don't know how they do business. Now, one of the things that they have going for them is I hear that they're really great to do business with. That's something I think that the service has always had going for them, is that they actually treat their employees very well. Yeah, they're really great to do business with, and I think that's why a lot of people do go for them with this type of stuff. Now, one thing I'll say before we get out of here tonight, and this is a theory I had. Do you think this is just a theory, there's any chance in hell that Sony had gotten the rights to all the Netflix Marvel shows as well, and we just haven't heard about it yet, and that they're going to be going back to Netflix? And do you think that's part of the reason Netflix put up $1 billion? Because we heard about Charlie Cox in $1 billion.
You're right. Charlie Cox is going to be in Spider-Man. You were correct. And it would explain the $1 billion for sure. That's fair. If they own all of the Netflix MC Marvel shows, that warrants $1 billion purchase.
I was wondering about this.
I don't know. Because part of me is like, well, yeah, that makes sense. So sure, but also I don't know if Kevin Feige is gonna let that happen.
Yeah, I don't think so. Honestly,
Big Daddy Feige has even like, and Netflix has power, but Daddy Feige.
Yeah, but my question is, like, what does it affect for Feige? I understand he wants his territory and he's very territorial, but we got to remember that it wasn't that long ago that Sony and Marvel were in this like divorce, you know what I mean? Right. And they had to come to an agreement, and somebody didn't want to put up money. What else could they have bargained with that could have gotten Sony back on board? This is why I question this, is because it wasn't that long ago. So what else could they have bargained with? And then who, and once Sony acquired that, what would their first move be? Hey, let's go to Netflix. You know what I mean? It's just a theory, and I just don't feel like it's all that far-fetched, honestly, if you ask me, because of the fact that they were just in this, like, almost near divorce. I think that, if you ask me, Disney didn't want to put up the money, and they were probably like, all right, Sony, final offer. What will you pay for the Netflix shows? This is what we want to give you. Yeah. That's what I'm thinking. Little did, Marvel know that, or Disney know that they would just go back to Netflix with them, but it doesn't matter because they made big money off of it, you know what I mean, and it made bigger money, just doing that. If that's the case, of course, they made bigger money off these Netflix shows than they ever have. And by the way, if you get these Netflix shows back to Netflix, people are gonna flock right back to that service, dude. Like it's gonna be a huge deal if that's an announcement along with this. So I don't know. It was a theory I had. I mean, do you think there's any possibility, Cisco?
I don't know. Most of the actors always say that it's done. Like, what's his name? Cox. Charlie Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio too was always like, if something's happening, I haven't heard of it. Like he's always like responding to fans that are like, please come back. Yeah. And so I feel like it'd be a lot to get people to come back. Even though I like to see like John Bernthal and everybody come back, I thought he was great and everything. But
again, I understand it's like an under 45% chance. Like I get that. It's like at least for me, it's under 45 for sure. If I was to take the over under on that, but like I just don't think it's that far fetched either. It was just a small theory I had, and I wanted to get y'all's take on it and to see if you thought any. There would maybe be a shot that maybe they did that behind the scenes. I don't know. It's interesting. I mean, there's just been a lot of really, really interesting moves made lately. I get a lot of it's due to the fact that everybody's got a damn streaming service right now. I get that. It is. That's what it is. But the way things are evolving have certainly been interesting. So, yeah. I mean, guys, let us know. Is Sony enough? This is what I want to know for the audience tonight. Is Sony enough to, like get you guys back, on board for Netflix, or keep you guys on Netflix? Or if you've canceled already, are you going to flock right back to it? I mean, tell us what it would take for you guys. So, for sure.
It is interesting that Sony, like, didn't opt for their own Sony Plus, you know what I mean? Like
they kind of hung back and waited to see what everybody else is going to do.
They waited out,
like, we're going to bid.
That means that they have faith in Netflix, I guess. To, you know what I mean? They saw something in there, and the $1 billion right. didn't hurt. I feel like. The one thing I saw too that I thought was just so people understand too, because Sony owns a lot of companies too.
Right.
That so Netflix will have the ability to license the rights to titles from the Sony library, which includes Columbia's nearly century-old catalog.
That's good too. That's good too.
As well as other studio labels, TriStar, Sony Pictures Classics, and Screen Gems.
Yeah, that's a lot of stuff.
That's like 3 of it.
Yeah.
That's
a good point. Yeah, I do hope
that was a little nugget I found too online.
Yeah, I hope that they pick at that stuff, and put it on there too. Like, I hope that's part of it. So let's let's hope that I would hope that was part of the negotiation too. Was like, okay, if we're gonna give this to you, like,
why wouldn't you take advantage of that?
Use our back catalog.
You paid for it, might as well.
Right.
I imagine they will.
Yeah, and I'm sure Sony wants that content to still be seen over and over and over again. You know what I mean? I think that it's something that they're probably proud of owning, and if they're going to give it to Netflix, they're like, okay, you can have the Spider-Mans and the Jumanjis, but we also need the back catalog on there too. I just hope that they make smart moves with it. I hope they put the right stuff on there. I just feel like there's things that you need to... I don't know. I feel like they should minimize some of the other BS that nobody watches along with this, like, for sure, just to, get some of the licensing fees off their back. I think that that's probably the best way to go about it. So, that's where I'm at with it. But
you think the next Spider-Man will be full of, like, Sony products, like the Amazing Spider-Man ones? Let me check that out on my Sony computer here.
Yeah, let me put on my Sony headphones real quick.
Oh, we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Oh man, was there any other news, or did we get to it
all? We have one more big story, and then 2 others that we can kind of go through probably quickly. But this next big one. So 3 more total.
Gotcha.
Warner Media plans to make its biggest movies theatrical exclusives again in 2022. So what this means is, beginning in 2022, Warner Media's biggest tentpole films, including the films of DC, Harry Potter, and the Monsterverse, will play exclusively in theaters for at least 45 days before moving to a service, and they have it in quotes. I'm assuming they said it like HBO Max, but it doesn't say exclusively HBO Max. And so there is one major caveat to this, which is that Warner Media has made similar deals with AMC theaters and Regal cinemas about how long they're going to be able to play their movies.
The theatrical window,
correct.
Right.
So that is still up in the air. There's no word on that from either movie chain about how that is exactly going to go down, but it is clear that it will be these films will be in theaters for a minimum of 45 days. They can go over. They say films like they're expecting the Batman, Black Adam, Fantastic Beasts 3, to overperform, in which they will stay in theaters for longer than 45.
Do you guys remember when Universal put Trolls on their service, like, really quickly?
That was the first big,
and it was like
pandemic
exploded.
Release. Yeah.
Right. Like, the theaters were pissed. It's really interesting to see, like, now, like, this is part of my point.
Now it's the norm.
The theatrical window has shrunk everywhere now. And I think that, like, this story to me is like, it's not that it's a bad headline, like, it's good to report on, don't get me wrong. Like, it's something that needs to be reported on, but the fact that it's happening is like, no shit, you know what I mean? Not that the theatrical window is shrinking. I mean, that's one thing, but just the fact that, Warner Brothers was like, oh yeah, our movies will never be in theaters again, and then here you go. We knew this was going to happen. We knew once we phased out, they went into like panic mode and were like, let's put all our movies on streaming right away, And it's like, I think that, I mean, it was cool for a while, I mean, we're always going to remember 2021 is the year that we got all Warner Brothers movies immediately. You know what I mean? And like, that's cool. It's just like, yeah, but like, now that you're taking that away, subscribers aren't going to be happy, but I knew for a fact that they were going to put their movies back in theaters once the theaters came back. Once they heard about Godzilla versus Kong, they were like, oh shit, we got to turn this around.
Oh yeah.
So it's like, yeah, it's like, yeah, they're going to be putting their movies in theaters 100%. That's where they make the most money. So yeah, I mean, why? Yeah, I don't know. What do you think, Cisco? Was this a no-brainer?
Yeah, that was kind of not a to me either. Even though like it's just been a weird time with the pandemic, and studios smartly took the time to kind of experiment with the releases of their films and adjusted to the times, which you need to do. You need to do, because theaters were not open. How are you going to make money if your people are not going to see your movie, or you know what I mean? You don't make it available for people to see. So I don't give them shit for trying different things, but theaters are back open. Godzilla and Kong is proving that, you know, they're making money, but blockbusters, people still want to see it in the theater. And so, you know, the three you just mentioned, Batman, Fantastic Beasts 3, and I forgot the other one. Those are going to make money. Like, just obviously they're going to make money. Like, people are going to go see that. So yeah, it makes sense that they would go to the theaters. No surprise here.
It's a no-brainer. I knew this was going to happen. I was telling people this back when they were like, we're never going to see Warner Brothers movies in theaters again. It's like, will. Yeah, you will. Once we get back into the theaters, you're going to see them again, for sure. And here we are. So it just didn't come as a surprise to me. I don't know, Sammy, what do you think?
I mean, not much of a shock either. This is like, it's kind of like, of course, this is what's happening. I literally said the other day to my parents that I was like, theaters are still a thing? I'm like, didn't all movie theaters close in 2020 and they're extinct now? Like, that's just how my brain kind of has been thinking about theaters for the last year, that they're just not in, you know, they're not accessible to me. So I just assumed that everything must be coming out on a streaming service, because that's how I watch everything, you know?
Right.
And I feel like the rest of the world is kind of that way as well, I think. So, but again, I always say I love movie theaters. That is the absolute perfect way that is the way you should see a movie, is in a movie theater. So for them to at least be saying we are definitely going to be showing all of these for a minimum of 45 days is a really good thing for these theaters. And kind of, it's like a no-brainer. And then, like, of course they'd go to HBO Max. Like, that's the smartest choice.
I think so. I think they will.
And especially blockbusters, and like, actually, like, the last movie I saw in theaters was Nobody, that Bob Odenkirk action flick, and like just seeing that in a theater with like people and like, you know, cheering when he's kicking ass, you know, like, you don't get that at home. Like that was just like a prime example of like, man, it feels good to be in a theater with people like all sharing this experience of, you know, it's funny and people are laughing at the funny bits and also like cheering at the crazy action. So you, especially for big blockbusters, it's totally worth it. Like, for sure. No one has like an 80-foot TV in their house, you know what I mean? You can't. If you do, Mark like does, props to you, but
is he really 80
no
feet.
It's 80 inches feet. It's 80 inches, but still I like to make fun of him because he's so proud of it. But anyway, sorry, go ahead.
But yeah, you can't replace it. They're good now. The TVs are good now, but it's just
they're great. You're right.
It's different when you're literally in an actual like theater, like you're actually in a room with a whole audience, and you're all watching the performance on the screen together. It's pitch black. It's surround sound. It's just always gonna be superior. Always.
Yeah, I know. I love my TV, but it's a piece of shit compared to what I get in the theater. You know, even with my good audio and my 65-inch, you know, it's great, but it's not, you know, the theater, you know, and I think that we're just all ready to get back. You know what I mean? It's time, you know, so let's do it. And I'm excited. That excites me. This is like, there's something that's like, this is no surprise, you know, and like clearly they shouldn't have like been like, oh, we're never going to go back to the theaters again or whatever they said earlier in the year about it. But like, you know, I'm still happy. You know, like, this is still an optimistic story on the same hand at the end of the day, because it just means that it's like, okay, if you convince Warner Brothers that we're going back, then that means we're in a good spot. You know what I mean? So, really great stuff. So I'm very happy about those at the same hand. So
just please don't be an asshole when you go, please.
Please.
Because I've already
turn your phone off.
Yeah, I've already had a negative experience going back.
Don't kick my fucking seat, please.
Don't kick my seat. Just sit still and be quiet and watch like the rest of us.
Please don't have conversations about your medication.
You can eat. Like... you can eat, but be quiet about it. Please don't talk. No medication talk here.
Please, but but nobody was awesome. Like that, so that was good. Great. But
nice.
Yeah.
All right, what's next?
Awesome. All right, next up, we got a little bit of sad news. We have Rocky Balboa himself, Sylvester Stallone, confirming via Instagram that he is not going to be appearing in Creed 3. He was asked, I believe it says, is there a chance of a Creed 3? And his response is, it will be done, but I won't be in it. Keep punching.
All right, listen, this is one of those really, really bad stories that I throw in there to acknowledge how bad this is. Listen, like, you report on it, that's fine, but, like, my problem is the reaction to this. People are, like, so shocked over this. Do you remember it wasn't but, like, a few months back that Stallone said, I'm retiring from Rocky? Like, why is this a surprise to people? You know what I mean? That he's not going to be in the movie. He said this already. Like, I just don't understand why this story's coming back up and people are, like, freaking out over. He already said he was done with Rocky, you know? Like, it's like, yeah, he's not going to be in it. I'm good with that. I thought Creed 2 gave the character a really good ending, in all honesty, as well. So, yeah, it's just, I mean, I'm, good with that. That's fine. If he doesn't want to be in it, that's cool. I mean, move on, do something new. Yeah, I'm good with it. What do you think, Cisco?
I'll play devil's advocate on this one.
Okay.
I think I think it's kind of hypocritical. Just like, I'm a fan of the Rocky franchise,
okay,
but like, if you look at all of the main characters in the Rocky franchise, Stallone killed them all off at one point or another. He killed off his wife, Adrian. He killed off Paulie. He killed off Apollo.
Yeah.
And then he's dipping now.
Yeah.
And he's like, they could still kill him off on screen, I guess. With like, he's done that. I think Adrian, we didn't see her die or whatever, but like, they could still do that. But I'm like, I honestly thought he could have died in the first Creed and that would have been strong. Which I thought they were going to do that just the way that was playing out. But, and I honestly don't remember Creed 2 all that much. I only saw it in the theater. So I can't really remember like how his arc ended in that, but
yeah,
I don't know. Like, he's still the face of the franchise. Like, I can understand why people are upset about that. You know what I mean? Like, even though it's Creed, it's a new franchise.
I get why they're upset. Like, I'm not saying like I get why they're upset. I don't get why they're upset. I don't understand why they're surprised. He said this already. It was already a big story. I don't know why they're surprised again. It just seems like they're just.
I think people just assumed. Like, I don't know. I'm not like super heavy into the news cycle, so I was shocked by it. Honestly, like, I thought he was gonna be in it. Like, he's just like, you think Creed, you're like, oh yeah, so Stallone's gonna come in here. It's like, what else does he have going on?
Right.
Like, does he have some other franchise I don't know about? Like,
yeah,
this is like his
Squad.
This is his baby. It literally is. Rocky
just doing
literally
boy
like
for Suicide Squad.
But like, you raise a lot of good points there, Cisco, about like his not returning. I just happen to like his ending in Creed 2. I thought it was good, but like. No,
I don't remember it. So it might have been. I
only
saw it the one time in the theater.
Thank you for spoiling that.
Much.
Thank you for spoiling that Adrian dies. I did not know that.
Oh, sorry.
But now I do. It's okay.
She died back in 6.
I've had time to watch them. I have had time.
But yeah,
I chose not to. So.
Even though you do know it, it's kind of a funny joke because after a certain time, you're just like, so is he just gonna kill off everybody?
Right.
Like he's just.
Oh no.
It's just gonna be Rocky now. Like.
Right.
It's just him.
No, I got
you. At a certain point, and so when they did bring Creed back, it's like, okay, it makes sense. He's kind of like this old lonely guy. He doesn't have anybody left.
Yeah.
And I like seeing him in there. It's like, I don't really like what Stallone's been putting out as of late.
Okay.
See Last Blood. Absolutely awful movie.
Oh, I love Last Blood. I love Last Blood.
Oh my god, terrible and super racist. But anyways, I like him in this movie. I like him in this role. It's like his iconic role. You know what I mean? He won an Oscar for it, and so I don't know. I thought it's kind of shady. Why wouldn't he want to be?
I don't know. I just feel like it's like I feel like with the Creed, the difference there is like I feel like with Creed, he has less. I feel like Stallone has less say on what goes on with the Creed franchise as opposed to what the Rocky part of it. And like I think that's part of it as well.
I can't imagine they don't want him in it though. Like,
I don't think it's that.
I just even think, like a small part. He's just usually just like a small, you know what I mean, the coach or
and
the background.
I don't think it's that so much. I just think it's the fact like does he want to do it? I think that's what it comes down to more. Does he want to?
That's what I mean. Like, well, I don't know. I understand his motivation. Like, why is he not?
He's
like,
getting old.
I mean, it's not like but he's not fighting. Like, you know what I mean? He's not. He's just the.
Yeah.
I don't know. If he can do Last Blood, he can do Rocky or Creed.
I don't know. I mean, he might have. he might have just really liked the ending that they gave him in Creed 2. You know what I mean? That Stephen Cable Jr. gave him in Creed 2 also. And I think it was I don't think it was like an easy feat to get him back in the first place in Creed. I don't know. I can't confirm that or anything. I just, in my opinion, I didn't think it was like a easy
I had a
thing to
bad
get him back in the
experience during
first place.
Creed 2 as well. Speaking of assholes in the theater, so not a good experience, and I have not revisited it again. But
I love that movie.
That definitely I feel like affected my opinion, because I was ready to love it though, because I love the first Creed.
Yeah. That's great.
But it just didn't work as well for me. But it could have been that experience. That's always the hard part. I'm like, I don't know if it was because I was just in a bad mood because of that or what.
Okay, fair enough. No, like don't get me wrong, I'm not like happy that he's not in it. My point is like I knew this like months ago because like he said it. You know, he said I'm retiring, so it's like I've had time to process this information. For some reason, everybody else missed that story or something where he said,
I didn't.
I'm retiring. So
memo.
It's just very shocking to a lot of people, and it's strange to me that it is. And even like the big like news cycles,
because it puts them in a bad position, I feel like, because it's like they could do the Adrian is just dead now, you know what I mean, and just accept it because she's not back yet. But then it's like,
it's
definitely I feel like that's always cheap when they do that, because it's like it's different when an actor's died, because then you have no choice. Like you can try and do the CGI thing. That's usually the wrong way to go, right, as we've seen many times. But but then usually when it's like they died and they just mention that like offhand, then it's like, okay, well they had no choice. But like the fact that he's still alive and he could be in it, but he just doesn't want. Like, I don't know. It's just weird.
It's definitely the riskiest one that they've done in the sense that like you got no Rocky, you got Michael B. Jordan doing the first movie he ever directed. Some people. That's a non-starter for some. Some people only want to watch it because they know Sylvester Stallone. Yeah, maybe. So that's true. Tough. Yeah, like I said, it's risky. It's risky, I think. But if it's good and it gets great word of mouth, then maybe people will go. I think it's luckily has 2 movies beforehand that were very well received, prior to it. So I think that's going to help it quite a bit. And I think I think people will still watch it. I don't think it's going to be like that it'll affect it too much. I hope Michael B. Jordan does a great job directing it. I think that's what it's going to come down to, and hopefully he does. So,
Sammy, you should still watch all the Rocky movies.
Oh yeah,
except for maybe skip 5,
maybe 5,
and then
is that the one with all the montages? I know they all
4
have montages.
That's 4. It's still entertaining, cheesy entertaining.
Yeah.
Like,
nice.
Yeah,
5 is
like,
just bad. It has a lot of montages too, though, but it's just bad. Yeah.
5 doesn't make sense. He leaves, and then the kid's 4 years old, and he comes back in 5, and he's 10. Like, what happened?
Yeah, it's tough.
It's weird.
I don't know.
They didn't even explain. I don't know.
All the other ones are pretty solid though.
It's rough.
So
nice.
Yeah. Anyway, Sammy, what's the last story, and then we can get out of here.
All right, our last story is Disney Plus finally releases the Zemo cut due to popular fan demand.
Thank you for saving this one for last.
Yes.
Oh, absolutely.
I forgot about this. I
knew I had to. Yeah. So, Baron Zemo, Captain America villain, villain character. I don't know if you can call him a villain of the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, but
AKA
Baron
my favorite character on the show right now.
He's great. He's phenomenal. He's phenomenal.
He's really great. So Disney Plus has released an hour-long cut of him just doing his dance,
and it's wonderful.
His actor Daniel Bruhl did comment on it, and I think it was quite funny. He says, "It's so hysterical. That moment was improvised. When I saw the crowd dancing, going loco, I felt the beat, and I was like, Zemo has been sitting in a dodgy German prison cell for years. So he needs to let off some steam and show his moves. Let's go for it."
Yes.
Says, I enjoyed so much the reaction of Anthony Mackie and Sebastian Stan looking at me. Still, I was 100% sure that they would cut it out of the show.
Yeah.
And not only did they not cut it, they made an hour-long cut of it.
Isn't it great how we all have like differing opinions on the news, and then the Zemo cut just brings us all together?
That's why I said I'm glad we had, like, if anyone was like hating on this, I'd be like, get out of the Zoom right now.
No,
like,
it's brilliant. It's brilliant marketing. It is hysterical.
Release the Zemo cut.
Why would anybody hate this? This is just wonderful. This is wonderful stuff, and I watched about 30 minutes of it. I'm not gonna lie to you, straightforward. Like, it was so great, and I was having the time of my life. So really wonderful. So I was really thrilled to see this, and I'm glad that they had extra footage of him dancing too. That was really awesome. So.
That was great.
It's just good marketing. Yeah. I don't know, Cisco, do you have any other thoughts on this one?
But yeah, like I was just saying, yeah, I'm not even exaggerating when I say that Zemo is my favorite character on the show right now.
He might be mine too.
We talk about it every week on stereo, me and Edwin on our show Saturday Matinee, and like I just straight out said it the last episode. I was like, Zemo's officially my favorite character. Like
he's great.
Nice.
I can't, like, Daniel Bruhl is doing such a good job. Like,
yeah, he is.
He's playing a likable villain, and then that was like one of the scenes where it's just like, how can you hate on that guy? Like that's just he's having a ball. He's in the club, and like the release of like you said, that's just brilliant marketing. Yeah. I was like obsessed with that GIF, like just when the episode came out of him dancing, and so then the fact that he's like the hour-long cut of that was like, okay, there you go. Yeah. So like they shortened the dancing in the episode, but then they were like, we'll give you guys
an hour.
You want the hour? So yeah, I'm a fan all around. I thought that was awesome.
All right, guys, and audience members, what'd you think of the Zemo cut? I hope you all loved it as well. I'm sure you did. And yeah, Daniel,
I didn't want to ask like, did you like it? I just want to be like, how much did you love it?
How much did you love it?
On a scale from love to
forget did you like it? On a scale from 1 to oh my god, that was freaking amazing. How much did you love it? I mean, seriously,
I feel like that's the more appropriate question.
Yeah, for sure. All right, guys, we're gonna go ahead and get out of here. I want to thank everybody for joining. Cisco, thank you very much for being here, man. And where can people find you?
You can find me at misfit_minded on Instagram, Twitter, and on Stereo, where I do a show every week called Saturday Matinee, where we do 2 movies together and talk about Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So you can hear us talk about the Zemo cut more on there. So, yeah.
All right. And Sammy, I really do like Fleabag, I swear to God, but where can people find you before we go?
I will believe you when I watch you see it and love it. Until then, I believe nothing.
Fleabag cut.
Hashtag release the Fleabag cut, the Waller Bridge cut. Release it. Oh, man. Anyway. I am on Instagram at Sammy Ramirez 14, and then also Twitter at Sammy Ramirez, and Stereo at Sammy Ramirez, where Dom and I do a show usually twice a week. It's been good fun. Come hang out with us over there.
Good stuff.
Absolutely. Yeah, we've been just having so much fun talking to you guys on Stereo, and you guys have been great as well. So
and you can call in. Let us know what you think on there.
Really?
Please, that's what's the best part about Stereo. Talk to us.
Yeah. For sure.
Yes.
And I want to thank everybody for being here today on another episode of Dom's Corner. You can find me at Dom_Martino_ and Dom_Martino_ official. And you're gonna give me every
stupid
time.
Amount of underscores.
It really is. All right.
Stupid amount. It's two per handle. I'll just
release the underscore cut.
And at Dom Martino, no underscore, at Dom Martino on Stereo. That was good. I just whacked myself in the face. Wonderful.
It's off the rails now.
It was pretty funny. It really is. All right, guys. Thank you for joining. We'll see you guys later. Please hit the like button below. Subscribe to the channel. Leave some feedback in the comment section. Share this with your friends. And hit that bell for notifications. Much appreciated. Do all that stuff. And we will see you guys later. And I might go watch some Fleabag. Bye-bye.